What up, Twitch world? We are now live. As you can see, I have some lovely guests with me. We will introduce them in a moment. Just the quick open house sort of messages we need to do. I will be talking to my lovely guests today as part of the chat show, so I won't be responding to chat verbally and all that. I will be doing it in chat. My guests are welcome to do the same if they want to, but hey, this isn't their stream, so if they want to ignore you completely, they can do that. Similarly, please don't redeem any sound alerts because they do not work during the chat show, and Twitch doesn't let you refund the points for sound alerts, so it would just be wasting your channel points. Obviously, alerts for anything like raids and bits and subs and stuff will still go off because those are important. But yeah, so that's all I have to say about that. I just got to get one thing ready. So all I've got left to say is... Oh, I've broken it. 1 second. Hey. Yay. It's because if I am open a different window, it turns all the cameras off. It's really annoying.
Can we fix it?
I can fix it. But all I've got left to say is let's play the theme tune.
Everybody come on down, and everybody gather around. We're gonna hang with some friends tonight. We're gonna hang with some friends, alright. It will be a real good time. The company here is sublime. We're gonna hang with some friends, alright. We're gonna hang with some friends tonight. So make sure that you spread the wholesome wherever you may go. So make sure that you spread the wholesome, 'cause it's a second-hand chat show.
Cool. Alright, so yes, we have with us today, we have the rather magnificent Geology Wade. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Actually, I didn't ask you before stream, and I should have, but if one of you can just double check that all your voices are coming through on the stream, that always makes me... I always get nervous about it, that it doesn't work. Even though it should. Yeah, we also have with us the always delightful Min Kitten. Rachel, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
Good. And we have with us the enigmatic TK, Teutonic Knight 44406. TK, how are you doing today?
You didn't have to add those numbers in.
I do, but people need to be able to find you, and I made a point of learning it.
Those are my bane of my existence, okay? I hate those numbers.
I can confirm all our voices are there.
Excellent, thank you. Right, so before we can start the show, the thing we have to do is, you may or may not know, we have a cocktail redeem on this stream where people can redeem a cocktail based on themselves or a character from a game we're playing. I couldn't just give you all a free cocktail redeem, but what I like to do for the chat show is take one ingredient based off of each of you and mix them together to make a chat show cocktail.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We've actually made a TK cocktail before, so unfortunately I didn't have any mead in at the moment, but so I've taken... I know. I did look. It's gone.
He's gone.
It's gone. It's fair. It's fair. It's fair. But no, so I've taken... we used cassis in that, and I've taken that out to add to this cocktail. From drinking with Wade before, I know one of his favourites is the Amaretto Dr. Pepper. It's a good mix. So that is where we started with this drink. And then I was just thinking, I was like, Rachel, I like whenever I hang out in her streams, I always feel like it's a cozy, comfortable sort of vibe. And anyone who knows me knows that my comfort drink is Malibu. So that is what we've got today. We've combined Amaretto, Malibu, Cassis, and topped it up with Dr. Pepper to make the wonderful Geology Kitten Night. You know.
Sounds interesting.
Mm.
Someone call 911.
Also, It's good. I like it.
Version.
Yeah.
It just tastes like a really sweet Dr Pepper.
Have you eaten today? That's the question.
I have eaten today, yeah.
Okay,
Have you checked
good.
your blood sugar levels?
I took some insulin just before I started the stream,
Right on.
and it is sugar-free Dr Pepper.
Oh. I
Oh.
mean, it tastes pretty much the same.
It does, yeah. But yeah, no, this is a really nice drink, guys. I would recommend the Geology Kitten night. It is a nice drink.
I can see cassis and the cassis and the Malibu combo is the bit that's throwing me off
Yeah,
in my mind. I can see the other three pairing like without Malibu or the three without cassis.
that's fair. I don't think you kind of get a slight coconut aftertaste. I mean, I know you're not a big coconut fan anyway, but I think really the Malibu just makes it sweeter. So yeah, it's just like a really sweet, really fruity Dr Pepper. I like it. It's good. And but yeah,
No
so,
need to brag.
yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Hey, do you have enough to share with the whole class here?
Yes, yeah. If you pop over, I'll make you one. But
Alright.
before we went live, we were all just talking about how hot it is. I'd like to point out I made this probably, what is the time now? About a quarter of an hour ago, like just before I started the voice chat with all of us. And it did have ice cubes in originally. There are no ice cubes in this glass.
Yeah.
They've all succumbed.
So, yeah.
Why I bought this because Florida.
Yeah.
Is that like a Yeti mug or?
It's like a yeah, kind of, and it's an insulated for. It's technically a wine glass, but I put whatever in it. There's nothing in it now. I just woke up.
It's fine.
Like morning wine.
No, yeah, I was gonna say no one will judge you. It's
Well, yeah. I mean, it's almost 5 p.m. here.
That's it. Also, I very much find that when people spend time with me, it tends to drive them to drinking. So, like, by the end of the show, you'll be.
I mean, I'm tempted to get my assistant to get me some like Baileys.
Do it.
Yeah, I'll message her.
I love that she's now your assistant. I mean, anyway. Right, so, chat show. We're here. The first part of the show is we do an interview of each of our guests to get you to know a little bit about them and a little bit about what they do in their streams and the such. Purely because you're first on the poster, Wade, I was going to start with you.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun because when I send Chris the information to do the posters, they don't always come back in the same order I send them. So it's just like, but I have to do everything in the order of the poster because that's how advertising works.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. Right. So you stream seasonally because of your job, and often you're away from home. Do you think this makes your streaming experience different from people who have a regular stream schedule?
I mean, yeah. So for people who don't know, I stream kind of quite seldom and on and off. Sometimes I'm back and I stream because I want to at the time, and sometimes I don't. So like, it definitely makes it different because I always only had a limited amount of time, and certainly when I started streaming, I was wanting to stream a certain game, like Fire Emblems were some of the big ones I started with, and I wanted to do the entire thing. So I felt pressure, not that there was any kind of actual pressure from anyone in the stream side, but to try and finish that game in that amount of time. And if I couldn't, that made me feel sad or put on extra ones to do extra things. And eventually I got annoyed at myself for doing that because I was like, this isn't the way. This isn't what's fun.
Yeah.
Like playing the games, super fun. Playing them on stream, super fun. Adhering to this pressure to myself, not fun.
Yeah.
So I just stopped doing it now, and now I don't care. And I'll just play whatever I want, whenever I want, even if that means I don't stream at all. Like, I haven't streamed at all this time I've been back because I've just been doing other things.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But yeah, so like for me, it started off making it feel kind of like I wanted some semblance of continuity
Yes.
in each individual like season I was back, and then I was just like, I just gave up with that idea because it wasn't working.
And I think that sort of added pressure you put on yourself that you talked about is something a lot of new streamers do. And probably still a lot of quite ongoing streamers, but I don't think it's something that most people go through a time of doing.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I mean, ultimately, in my opinion, streaming is for yourself. You know, you don't want to be doing it if you don't enjoy it, because that's just going to be silly, and therefore you should do what you enjoy.
Yeah.
You should not do something that is not enjoyable to yourself.
Absolutely.
If you're just doing things you're like, oh, you know, for whatever reason. I mean, one of the other problems that I had was I'd start playing one of these games and I'd be like, damn, this game is bloody good, and I'm not at work. Like, I have free time doing all the things. So if I was doing 3 streams a week, I'd be like, well, I really want to play this game on Tuesday, but I'm not streaming. And so I'd want to either play it out of sync and like create a Discord in the streaming narrative, or start a new game of it. It's like, well, I don't want to do that because I'm already playing. So that was like another one of these Discords that I didn't really gel with.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me just throw the whole thing out the window and just be like, oh, sod it, I'm doing whatever I want.
Go. 2 of my questions follow on from what we just talked about.
That's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, but it's which one do I segue into? Oh, it's just... well, I think I actually talked about it. I know you have done before. You've used the same save file for your stream that you've also carried on with off streams and stuff. Which I was then going to say, do you think that makes it different from people who only stream the games online, only play the games on stream, to people who can play them both on and off? Like you saying, it's sort of...
Well, that's an interesting question, because some people will definitely, especially if you're a super big streamer and you have a really big viewer base, there are definitely going to be people that want that entire narrative.
Yes.
And if they didn't get that entire narrative, whether it be through going back and watching VODs, because they might not be able to watch it all live.
Yeah.
That might make them not necessarily upset, but like feel like they missed out on something. But I am not a big streamer in any sense of the word. I have a very small viewer base when it's happening. Not that that's a problem, but it does mean that problem is probably very limited, because I imagine that as a percentage of those people, it's probably 0 people.
Yeah.
Equally, in my viewpoint, unless they are someone who wants to see absolutely everything and they're gonna go back and watch the VODs, chances are they might not catch all the streams anyway, in which case they would miss a part of the narrative anyway.
Yep.
So what does it matter if they miss a part of narrative while I'm just playing it by myself in my own free time?
Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable way of looking at it.
If someone's interested in like, oh hey, last time I saw you were at point X, what did you do? I could easily just describe it.
Yeah.
To them. Say, hey, I just take 5 minutes out to stop playing. Just be like, oh, this is what I did, and it was carnage, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then hopefully it gets over the same thing. Just not necessarily with all the hilarity. Oh, that would definitely ensue in the failures.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, so then again, as you sort of mentioned, you stream a lot of tactical based games like Fire Emblem. What do you find makes these games so enjoyable to stream?
Oh, that is a good question.
Thank you. You hear that? He's complimented 2 out of 3 questions, so I'm doing well.
You got it. The thing is, like with strategy games, is especially the kind of ones that I play, there is so much variety in a potential approaches, and people who are viewing this who have either played the game or who have not played the game or wish to play the game. So people who have played the game, they'll be able to see this and be like, huh, that's something I hadn't considered. Or maybe they'll be able to point out and go, have you tried considering this? That might work really well. People who have not yet played might then think, that's a cool idea. Maybe I can do something with that when I go to play, but people won't necessarily copy.
Yeah.
It's also then really fun when things are challenging to try and overcome those challenges. And it's really funny to watch me fail again, making terrible strategic decisions. Terrible strategic decisions is definitely a big part of some of the entertainment value from a lot of the streams that I have done. And I know that people have, I've had one of my like, I don't know what the word is, main viewers, he keeps coming back, this guy called Acer, and he just loves watching me buck things. But I'll be so close to victory, and then I'll just be like, oh, and then I'll just like press a button wrong and do something, and I'm just like, oh god.
Doesn't he have like a Wade's mistakes counter or something?
There's a lot of different counters we used to have, yeah. But there was a death counter. We always do death counters.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially a failures. But yeah, essentially I think what makes them fun to stream and for people to watch is the variety of creativity and things you can go for, and then also the clarity of terrible choices, which just don't pan out the way you intend, or do pan out exactly the way you intend, but then that was really bad.
Like screaming charge and running for them.
Absolutely, yes.
So then, the other thing I wanted to ask you is, I know certainly more when you very first started streaming, but you have been also known to do N64 streams. And how did you find doing retro games differs from doing more contemporary games?
The reason I did that really was because I still have my Nintendo 64, and bless her, currently she doesn't work.
Oh no.
I know, I need to fix her, but I don't know how because I'm not an engineer. But Google exists, and how hard could it be? Google seems to think it's a capacity problem. Anyway, that's irrelevant. For me, I had this product, I had the N64, and I was like, I don't use this at all, or very often. And I wanted to be like, I might as well use it because I've got it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy a lot of these games that I have because they're fun. And some people may or may not have seen these games, or they or themselves will have the nostalgia for them. So I thought, let's do some of these. So I did it on a Throwback Friday, is what I called it, because I didn't want to stream on a Thursday, even though that would have been a bare alliteration. But they were always hit and miss, depending on the game you're playing. Because some games like Ocarina of Time, quite a lot of people will probably come to watch that and hope you're doing some kind of mad speedrun, and they'll see like some noob like me just
playing it normally, yeah.
Playing it normally, yeah. And some other games. What else did I play? Like I played some Pokemon Stadium and some other kind of ones, and I was like, oh, I can just try do things that I haven't done before. I feel like the people who don't necessarily know the content or know the game, sorry, and have a nostalgia associated with that, it probably isn't good content for bringing people in, because the graphics quality of an N64 is limited to poor at best anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was amazing at the time, but now, look at it. But that coupled with the absolutely chaff converter I have that goes from the 3-pin left-right visual, that's left-right audio visual, into a HDMI is not the best quality either. So you're losing even more of this fantastic quality, and then displaying it on a rectangular, non-square, non-CRT thing. You definitely lose a lot of that visual appeal, and so I imagine it can be quite
jarring,
disinteresting to people who don't know what it is and don't care about
Yeah.
the old one. It's probably very niche, would be my guess. You know, if someone tunes in and sees me playing the latest JRPG game, because chances are I probably bought it or something, then they might be like, huh, that's a new game. I can see whether I want to play this or not. If someone tunes in and goes, there's a game from 15 to 20 years ago that will cost me, like, I'll have to buy an N64 and a CRT TV, and it looks like garbage. Well, I don't do it. You know, it's not necessarily going to be quite as hooking.
Yeah. That's fair.
Enticing is a better word.
Just because you mentioned the quality of like how it looks and stuff, just a quick funny related thing. So I first brought my first 4K TV when I was playing the PS4 God of War, because I was like, oh, this is a pretty game and I want to get it in looking fancy. But when I set up my TV, I set it up just before I had to go to work, and I didn't have time to play God of War, so I was like, but I want to put something on the 4K TV. But I had just got a mini SNES, so the first thing we played on a 4K TV was Star Fox on the SNES, which is the most polygony game you've ever seen.
Nice.
But
You could have chosen any of the 8-bit games.
Yeah,
I went
absolutely.
with the polygons.
The most polygon game. Yeah. So then
Kids lost their shit at that when they were young.
I'm sorry?
You know, kids lost their shit.
Oh yeah, I mean it was fully 3D on the SNES. It was incredible. But yeah, so then finally I have to ask the wholesome question that everybody gets asked, which I don't know actually what your answer for this will be, where you are very sort of casual with your streams, but what are the goals for your channel and how can we help you achieve them? Do you have goals for your channel?
I don't know if I have goals anymore. I definitely want, like, when I was starting, I was definitely like, oh, it'd be nice to kind of grow to like be some kind of average and have something.
Yeah.
I've got a good goal.
Yeah.
So, obviously, a useful and handy benefit of streaming is you get a pay check sometimes.
Yes, you do occasionally get those.
Yeah, you occasionally get them when you get up to like 50 or 100 pounds of credit. I don't know how much.
It's 50 now. It used to be 100,
now.
yeah.
I have never had one.
Okay.
So if I ever get my first one,
That would be
that'll
really
a
cool.
winner.
Yeah?
Yeah, because there's probably like £20 sitting there
Yeah.
from like maybe the 4 or 5 subscriptions I've ever had.
That's the thing that always confuses me. When people stop streaming, like especially like big streamers, and they do, this is going to be my last ever stream. The amount of people that donate like bits and subs and stuff in that, and I'm like, but they're not going to get that money if it doesn't like total out.
If they're a big streamer though, they'll get over 50 quid.
Well, that is true. I suppose they probably would, but subs only. I'm just like, I don't understand. They're not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, there you go.
anyway,
So, I mean, I'm not necessarily going to go tell everyone to spend loads of money on it, but in a couple of months when Wade's back from work, if he does some streams, please go and check him out. If you enjoy him, feel free to give him some bits, or let's get him that first paycheck. But like,
you don't need to subscribe to the channel. There's no obligation.
No.
Just don't.
but
Unless
at
it's
least
right in a month when I get in.
That's it.
And you'll get the full worth of it. Otherwise, it's pointless.
But yeah, but at least go and check him out and say his streams. They are always a fun time and quite chaotic.
They are that.
Cool. Right, Rachel, we'll move on to you. So something I wanted to ask you about. So something I think a lot of streamers find gives them anxiety or guilt is like cancelling or rescheduling streams. But I know quite often.
God, yeah.
I know quite often you will like sort of say, "Hey, I'm just playing this game now and I don't want to stream," or like, you know, your mental health's not great, so you're going to reschedule something for another day. You're very flexible with your schedules, and I was just wondering do you have the same sort of, I guess, guilt or anxiety that other people do, or do you find that because it's works out better for you, that it's sort of okay?
So I used to have a lot of guilt around it, and sometimes I still do, because I don't know, I feel like when I commit to something, I'm not the kind of person that likes to flake on it too much, but at the same time, like, I have a full-time job, and like,
Yeah.
a life outside of streaming, and sometimes I just want to rot on a game and not be on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
socially. So I've tried to not let that guilt kind of get to me as much anymore, because it's like, first of all, I'm relatively irrelevant, so like nobody's sitting at home like, oh man, Min Kitten didn't stream tonight, that bitch. But like, it's like and then number two, it's just like, if I'm not feeling it and I stream, people are going to be able to tell that I'm not feeling it. So it's not going to be fun anyway. So I just feel like I rather cancel it for a day that I feel more mentally prepared than force myself to stream and be like, oh, now we're doing this. And then,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I definitely get that. I've definitely had streams where I've been far too tired to stream, and I've gone and streamed. And you can see, like, if you watch the VODs back, like, there'll be bits in it where I'll be playing it, and then, like, my character will walk into the walls for no reason, because I'm sort of like... And I'm like, I probably should have just not done that stream.
You can 500% tell when I'm getting tired, because I start getting really quiet. And I can't control it, because I'm just like, my brain is just focused on playing the game. And it's been like 20 minutes and I haven't said anything, and I'm like, oh, I should probably stop now.
It definitely happens. So something you're currently playing is the Telltale's Walking Dead, which you're almost finished at now.
Yeah, I wanted to finish it the other night, but it was so
Yeah. Isn't it your plan to finish it tomorrow?
No.
No?
Well, maybe. It
Oh.
depends on if... Because it was supposed to be Sims tomorrow, but...
okay.
Fucking EA. They broke the game again, so now I have to wait for all of the modders that I'm using their mods to update again. So we might play Walking Dead tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, how do you find the episodic formatting affects games? Or like, do you prefer that to playing like full games? Or I suppose you've got it all in one set because you're not playing it as it's released. But
Yeah, well, so I've kind of just been playing it like a normal game. I haven't really been sticking to, okay, this stream is going to be this episode and this stream is going to be that episode. I do kind of like it just because I'm a very forgetful person. So, like, at the beginning of each episode, it reminds you what happened and all the really bad choices that I made. That part I like. I enjoy feeling like I'm playing kind of a show. That's kind of fun. And I love The Walking Dead, so it's been a good time. I wish they would make one with the main storyline that is in that format. I would love that, because I love that stupid show so much.
that's fair. Yeah, I kind of agree. I really like doing the episodes where it has like the flashbacks at the beginning, especially if you haven't played it for a while. They're really helpful.
Yeah.
I just get annoyed with episodic games when they like, you know, the game comes out now, except only the first episode, and then you have to wait 2 months for the next one. And that's just like, oh.
Oh, see, I didn't have to worry about that.
No,
I played it
'cause you're playing it now.
I started playing it after it was already all released.
Because I always do it with episodic games. I will wait until the last episode comes out and then just buy it and play it then. But then it's so hard to not get spoilers.
That's
up
how I
until
am
then.
with shows too. They'll be like, "Whoa, it's 15 seasons. I'll just wait."
Yeah.
I'll binge it all in like a weekend. No, with spoilers, like I said, I'm very forgetful. So I'm not gonna remember anything. I can watch a whole playthrough. Actually, I have watched. I think I watched. Who was it? It might have been Jacksepticeye. One of those guys play this game, and I didn't remember anything that happened. So we're good. I could watch a whole playthrough of something and not remember anything that happened. I've played Resident Evil Village like 3 times through, and I still get lost every time that I play it.
I'm super excited because I got the PSVR 2 for my birthday, so I have to replay Village now so I can play it in VR.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, so that's something that will be on the channel at some point.
Lady D in VR.
Mama. I'm more worried about the Puppet House in VR. You know, the actual scary bit of the game.
My brain was in a different place. Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The boobs. No, it's fine. Well, I suppose we will probably have to, you know, for the content, go and get a nice close-up.
For real, yeah.
Yeah.
For content.
Absolutely. Speaking of your favourite broken game, The Sims, I know you've also been trying to do the Disney Princess Challenge.
Forever.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How do you find adding the challenge rules to a game changes the experience?
I like doing the challenges. I used to do them on my own all the time. So when I started streaming, I was like, oh, this is like a good guaranteed content that I can do like for a while. But I made the mistake, and we were talking about it before, about only playing it on stream.
Yeah. And
when you do like a multi-generational Sims challenge, you just can't do that, because then you end up like me playing the same generation for 3 years. So I finally started playing the game off the save, off stream a little bit, and then just kind of live tweeting while I do it so people can see what was going on. And now we're almost at the end of that first generation, finally, after 3 years. So, well, yeah.
There you go, Wade. That's what you need to do, live tweeting.
Get Twitter back in action. I mean, X.
Yes.
I will never call it X.
That's because it's stupid.
Yeah.
X marks the spot.
Elon
So does
can
G.
X himself.
A few months ago, you took part in like the mental health awareness raid train, which is a really cool thing. If anyone didn't catch it, it was like the bits of it I saw were really good, very positive on, you know, talking about mental health. It was a very good event. But I just wanted to ask you if you find streaming in raid trains different to streaming normally.
Well, yeah, obviously, because there's a lot of people. Generally, the people that watch me are like my friends, so it's a little bit more of a, I don't want to say comfortable environment, but like I know them, I know how they're gonna react to things. It's chill. Like I don't feel any added responsibility to be a certain way. But with the mental health stream, I really try to minimize any triggers that might be, so I won't play like any scary games or anything like that. I try to be like really upfront about what I'm talking about, because some people can't handle certain topics, and I get that. So I want them to be able to, like, you know, mute the tab or go do something else if they're not going to be able to deal with what I'm talking about. Obviously, it's usually a lot more people than I'm used to streaming to, so I get real nervous about it sometimes. Because I don't know, last time there was like 200 people watching me, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
That is crazy. Yeah.
But I mean, I love the event. I feel very passionately about that, because I've struggled with my mental health since I can remember. So.
It's good, but you did really well. It was really.
I ugly cried on stream, everyone. That's
You did,
important.
but it was a really interesting talk that you were sort of holding, and like you put yourself in a very good light. Like you talked about things very clearly, and it was really good.
Thanks.
So. And you know, and we actually met for a raid train, so you know,
We did.
I guess that was a slightly more fun one. But
Was it that one too?
no, it was
the other one?
the one that Sushi ran.
The spoopy one? Yeah, there you go.
Much more fun one, but
Yeah.
and then finally the big wholesome question: what are your goals for your channel, and how can we all help you achieve them?
I don't know if I have goals.
I mean, that's fine. If you you can all three of you could just be like, no, we don't have goals. We're just just here for a nice time, you know. But having a nice time
I would
is
love
a
to
goal.
be like oh, I want to blow up and be a big streamer, but I kind of don't, because I've been in a position where I've had like a social media platform that had a lot of followers, and it's like having a ginormous target on your back, and everything you say gets twisted. Like you could be like, I like waffles, and people will be like, you're racist. And I'm just like, what? I just don't. That whole part, and then like everything you do, I also don't think, even though I don't go outside, but I don't think I could handle people in public being like, hi, like, not that I would not be ungrateful or anything, but I would just be I'm really awkward in person. Like I don't know how to deal with that. But I guess as far as like the little paychecks go, it would be nice if it could be like supplemental income sometimes. You know, that's why I have been trying to kind of stream a little bit more often, because it is nice when you get that extra $50, $70, and I'm like, oh cool, I can put that in my bank account. That's money that I didn't have before that can go straight into my savings. So but that's about it. I don't really have like,
I mean, you've started doing the new thing that like your friend board, if people do a donate, haven't you? There you go.
Yeah, it's somewhere in this room.
So there you go. Again, I guess I'm not going to tell you all that you should go spend your money supporting Rachel, but also if you have spare money and you want to support someone, Rachel will review it.
You don't have to give me money. That's okay.
But yeah, at least go and check out her streams, and if you do want to give her money, you can get on her new friend board.
Yes, I used my pre-K teacher skills and made like a little bulletin board. It's in here somewhere. That has all the names of the people who gave me bits and stuff, so.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, it's really cool. Oh, piss. I've just thought. I forgot to ask Wade, and I will also ask you, but I will come back to you. Wade, do you have a question that you wanted to ask me?
Oh god, I was thinking about it and
Yeah.
I'd forgotten.
I just, alright. Rachel, do you have a question you want to ask me, and we'll come back to Wade because he's forgotten his question. Because I know how my show works.
Trying to think about one, but I'm bad at this. So I guess I don't know what got you started with streaming. What was your moment that was like, I should do this?
So so like a lot of people, I started streaming during the pandemic because I suddenly had free time on my hands, and so I very much wanted to view everything optimistically because that's kind of how I do things, and it's how I cope with the awful shit that is life. So when most people were like, oh, I'm stuck at home and I'm going to be depressed about it. Like, I understand it's not a choice to be depressed, but that is what a lot of people's reaction was. I went, I'm stuck at home. What have I wanted to do that I haven't had time to do before? Let's do something positive with the time. And I had recently got into Twitch because I was watching, because a YouTuber I liked, Don't Rage Quit, had quit her YouTube to go stream full time. So I got into Twitch to watch her. She's incredible. If you ever get the time to check her out, especially if you like Dark Souls content, she's very, very good. You can tell that she's good because I don't like Dark Souls content and still really enjoyed watching her. But yeah, and I used to watch, and I think at the time I was watching, she had just hit partner. So she usually had like around 90, 100 people in her chat at any given time. But watching her and being like, oh, she was always making time for everybody, and it was such a loving and friendly community. And I was like, that's such a cool thing. I want to do that. And I want to make a place where everyone can hang out and have a lovely time and we can all be friends. And then with it being the pandemic, I knew a lot of my friends who were stuck at home on their own were getting quite lonely and upset. So I was like, well, even if I can just make a few hours a day, like a couple of times a week, that they've got somewhere to go and talk to people, that would be a really cool thing. So I decided to give streaming a go. And then I really enjoyed streaming. When I first started, I was doing it twice a week. I was doing Sundays and Wednesdays. I very quickly added Mondays to that. And then after about a month or two, I added Thursdays as well. And I was doing 4 or 5 streams a week. Being like, yeah, this is really cool and I really enjoy it. And then I had to go back to work as the world resumed. And now I stream twice a week because it's all I can do. But, I still really enjoy it. And I love it if anytime people can come by and just have a friendly time and just have somebody to talk to. That's really what I like and really appreciate about streaming. And it's really cool. Like I say, I now know you people. Like I know so many people in America. One of my first friends I made when I was streaming lived in Korea. Like it's really cool that you can meet people from all around the world who I would never have had any hope of meeting before, and now I get to call them my friends, and it's a really cool thing, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
So yeah, so that's sort of my streaming thing. Mythos, that's the word. Have you thought of something that way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remembered. Good.
Right, the answer may very well be nothing.
Okay.
And that'll be fine. But if you could go back in time and change something about your streaming journey,
Yeah.
what might you want to be like? You know what? If that had been different, this would have been.
I wouldn't have played Doom on stream. That would have been a big thing. Because that's
not enjoy playing it, or like on
I enjoy playing it off stream. I didn't enjoy playing it on stream. I died a lot and got stuck on bits over and over. It is probably the thing that was the least watched of any of my streams ever. It's the only game that I haven't finished on stream, and I abandoned halfway through because I was just like, this isn't good to stream. So that would have been a big thing. I've talked about it before when people have asked about like mistakes that I've made on stream and stuff. There was a big thing a while ago what I did. It was after some event. It was like one of the redeems was like, we're going to play an entire game in one sitting. And I played Detroit Become Human in one sitting, which was the longest stream that I've ever done. I think it was like 10 and 3/4 hours.
Oh my god.
And that was fine. And it was a really cool stream and it was lovely. What I didn't know was that for about 2 hours in the middle of it, the game audio was muted.
Oh,
And if I could go back and make sure that didn't happen, because I think it was like, I think I'd stopped to talk to Katie or something, so I put on like my BRB screen and like muted stuff while I was talking to her, and then when I came back I forgot to unmute it.
Oh, it's so unfortunate.
Yeah, so
yeah.
something like that. I would like to have not done that.
Hey, I mean the fact that these are both like, I wouldn't have wanted to play this game. And
Yeah.
I wish I'd have unmuted that.
Yeah, the amount of times actually where I used to do it, because when Katie used to work Sunday nights, so she used to get home during my stream, and I would like mute my mic to talk to her, and the amount of times I then forgot to unmute my mic when I came back to streaming. I think there was a lot of Sunday streams where there'd be about 15-20 minutes of me talking and it not coming through, and then me suddenly going, oh fuck.
So streamer's plan.
Yeah, so things like that. Yeah, but if you make the mistake once or twice, I mean, that's fair enough. I would do it like every week. It was just, things like that. I don't think there's any like other like sort of huge, massive things. I don't know. I guess like you talked about and stuff. Like starting out, like don't put so much pressure on myself and don't get stressed about things. And I mean, nowadays, I've had this for like my entire thing. My chat is never particularly chatty. I tend to attract lurkers, which is fine. People are allowed to lurk, and I still appreciate them being here. But I guess, starting off, that was a thing that used to like get in my head when it would be like I'd only have 2 or 3 people here who would never say anything, and I know that is how most people start. Now I usually have like 8 or 9 people here who never say anything, But that's fine, and I'm still really grateful that those people are here. But it used to be something that really got in my head, and I think so if I could have maybe gone back and talked that through myself and been like, look, it's okay, things are going to be alright. That would be a good thing to have done as well. And interestingly, it was playing Night in the Woods on stream that made me really get over that. That's a really good game, and I would recommend it to anyone. But I played it before off stream, but then playing it on stream, it's just such a nice, chill, cozy game, at least for the beginning. And just sitting there and playing that and doing all silly voices for all the characters, and I think it's because none of it is voice acted, so I had to be constantly talking. I think that really helped.
Yeah, giving yourself something to just distract yourself from the void.
Yeah, that's it. that isn't just narrating what I'm doing, which is what I tend to do. It was actually, going through characters and doing stuff. And anyone who's seen any of my streams with non-voice acted games knows that I like doing voices for my characters. It's also been really good bedtime training, like for Lyra. Like now, when I do her bedtime stories, I'm good at doing voices. So that's been really fun. But yeah, so I think those are probably the big things that come to my head. Cool. TK, let's move on to you.
Yeah!
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it. So you play.
I'm ready for my job interview.
Yes. Hi. I hear you're here about the position.
Oh yes.
So you've played a lot of historical battle games. What attracts you to this type of game?
What game genre you mean?
Yeah.
It's the fact that as time goes on, history kind of waters away over time, or just there's like things that people just do not know about. For instance, this gentleman named James Puckle, who created the first Gatling gun during during the British War, American-British War, and he literally made, instead of your typical round bullet, he actually created the square bullet. It's basically a cube, and you would fire a cube out of this barrel. It's the most stupidest invention in the world, but it's the funniest thing just to like read about, and it's like, this is what our ancestors did. What? We've evolved so much. But it's the fact that we can just go back in time and kind of relive these types of events, or reread these events that have happened, and you can just educate yourself. For instance, like the games that do that the best would be like the Total War franchise games, like the Empire Total War. You got the medieval Total Wars. You got Rome. A lot of those have information about certain characters or units or places in general. Ubisoft used to do that in their very beginning periods when they made like Assassin's Creed games, but I think it's just kind of watered down over time.
Yeah.
into fantasy, like. But it's the fact that, again, we get to relive those kinds of stories. And I guess for those who don't know, I collect a lot of historical artifacts. Like, say, if you don't know, I have a medieval armor just sitting in the corner over here. You can wear it and do whatever you wish. I don't wear it anymore. I used to for streams. It just got so hot because you have the padding, then you have the chainmail, and then you have the plate armor, and you're just sitting in a room with no moving AC. You're like, I'm sitting in sweat. That's all I am doing. And I'm like, and my energy just quickly diminishes. Like at about maybe 30 to an hour in, I'm sitting here in this chair, just dead. I'm not even there playing. So yeah.
Yeah, that leads me sort of nicely on to so as you were sort of saying with the Ubisoft sort of thing as well. So when playing historical games, how necessary do you think it is that they're historically accurate?
It depends. I mean, let's look at like Assassin's Creed 3, right? Assassin's Creed 3 was basically about a Native American who was an assassin, was teaming up with the United States and trying to fend off Britain because Britain wanted to take the native land. Yeah,
we suck. I get it. Yeah.
And that's all that stuff is pretty historical accurate. But I mean, like the parts where, if you haven't played the game, there's a scene where, or even the trailer, for instance, where you have your hero, which is the assassin. He's riding on a horse. He's going through the middle of a field, and going across this large acre field. And then on the other side are these British soldiers who are just firing rounds at him. And it's like, wow, that looks so cool. And then all of a sudden he jumps off a horse, starts going against like these, like, I want to say units of 100 people. It's like, oh yeah, that's totally plausible. Yeah, one single dude is a whole army. Okay, And but just seeing at least a little bit of historical accuracy is great. That's all great. But now, I mean, they also had like Odyssey, which had, I want to say, what, the Greeks and Persians. They had all their historical mythology and stuff in there. That's all great. But but when you don't fact check what's historical and what's not, that's where it gets bad. Because when Ubisoft created the new Assassin's Creed, that had the Black Samurai, and then we actually had a Asian or Japanese assassin. That's all great. But then when people started fact checking the Black Samurai, is like, we can't find any information about this guy. Where did he even come from? And so, as you can do your own research on this stuff, but the more you research down into that samurai, it was written by one British author who lived in Japan, and he wrote about this Black Samurai, which he thought was actually a real person. But later over the years, he was claiming that he was a real person. But we can't find any information or any kind of documentation that this person even actually existed. So the important thing is to make sure you fact check your information and where you're getting it, and make sure it's not just from one source, but multiple sources that can back up your claim.
Makes sense. Yeah, and then as you mentioned it, I have it as you have done streams in your knight's helmet or the full set of armor on times. I get why you have stopped doing that, because, like you say, it's a hard thing to maintain. But what made you?
Vision.
Yeah.
I can't see anything. But tiny little splits. I can't.
What made you want to start doing that? What was your idea for?
Well, for those who don't know, where I originally did my streaming, I didn't do streaming from home. I had the world's worst laptop ever. If I tried to stream, it would start chugging, and I was using Elgato at the time because I didn't have a strong enough PC. So I had Elgato hooked up to my laptop. As I'm watching it, it's just cutting frames every once in a while. It was just absolutely horrible to watch. I would say you're better off just shutting off the stream and just listen to the audio, and I'll tell you what's happening. But what I ended up doing was I was going to college at my university. It's a Christian university, and I used to be in the gaming animations, so I majored in gaming animations, and so my whole subject matter was motion capture. So I was a motion capture technician / animator, and I had this studio all to myself. And I mean, like, it's not a large room, but I was the only one that had access to the room. So it was the only way to get in was a key card. And so I was basically I was animating, creating games, but also streaming off of their tower computer. So I was basically just kind of joyriding it for a while I could. And so I was streaming in there. I brought my own. I had the Xbox Series S. Absolutely a bliss to have. And I was just streaming off of that computer. But the thing was is that I do devote myself a lot to Christianity. And I know that over time people just become less and less faithful to the religion. And so I wanted to create a safe haven for those who are looking for horrible content, but also have questions about Christianity itself, or if you're going through doubts or depression or something like that, you can always at least come to my streams. I can help you out where I can. So
that's cool. When not playing your historic games, I know you've also done like simulation games, like you did. I can't remember the name of it, but the one where you were doing all the train stations and.
You're talking about Transport Fever 2.
Yes.
The transfer, yeah. Which
Um,
also has historical aspects. in
That's
that
true.
game,
You were building the longest train track and doing that.
Oh yeah.
But I was just wondering, do you find the vibes between the two, like doing your sim streams, like different to like your more battle streams? Do you
The
find
only time I ever do the Transport Fever 2 game is because it's normally when late at night. I know that a lot of my followers live in the United States, and it's midnight. You should be asleep by this point. You should not even be up. Why are you even watching this stream? So instead of playing some action game, I'm gonna play a game that you can just fall asleep to. I don't care if you're not watching the stream. You can close your eyes. You can do whatever you wish. You just need to sleep, because sleep is the most important thing to the human body. Because I mean, the lack of sleep, all you're gonna get is migraines, headaches, and then you get mood swings, uncontrollable mood swings. So you need to really dial down into getting as much sleep as you can, or get your beauty rest. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I only play those games if it's really late at night. And of course, for those who don't know, is I still live with my parents because the housing market eats my house. So right now I'm still living with my parents. I do have a full-time job, which takes up pretty much the majority of my time. They're about 10-hour shifts. So I mean, they're a little bit back-to-back sometimes, some cases. But I just don't have enough time when I come home to stream, because it's an hour drive from work. And I get here, I eat one meal, and then after that hour, I go right to bed and sleep.
Yeah.
And then just repeat in the morning.
It's a big day.
Yeah. It's so much exciting. It's fun adulting. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
It's a trap.
God, it's not a Disney film, guys. Just letting you know. There is no hero in here. Let's see. What was the question? I started going on a rampage there.
Did you just find the vibes between your different types of streams different? Like, how do you find the vibes differ? But that's cool. You've kind of you have answered it. You just have one of them is for action and the other's for sleeping. That's really nice though, that you make a sleepy stream for people.
Well, the action one, the reason why I stream that kind of stuff, like the Chivalry 2 or Hell Let Loose, is because I don't play games because I'm good at it. No, I don't do that. I am more of the old generation where before esports was a thing, I love to see, bodies flying, corpse flying into the atmosphere at I don't know, at Mach 5 or something. Like, that kind of stuff, I always find that absolutely hilarious. And the streaming aspect of it is, like, I don't find this as a job. It's more of like I would even say as a hobby. It's just something fun I like to do while I have the spare time. And it kind of reminds me of the days of Black Ops 2, or maybe if you have, I don't know, sleepovers with your friends. You had your friends in the backseat of you watching you absolutely sucking playing a game, and they're just like spitting on you saying, wow, I could have done this with my eyes closed. Like, I know you really could have, but you guess who's behind the controller? Me, and you're gonna have to watch me suffer through this. Like, those were the good old days. Like coming around a corner, getting headshot by my own friends. Like, hate this game. I really hate. You know what? I'm gonna play some Hello Kitty racing now because of you. Thank you very much. Like, those were the fun.
Yeah.
So that's essentially why I stream those types of games, between the simulator, calm stream, and the action-packed kind of scenes.
That makes sense. And then, finally, the big wholesome question. What are your goals for your channel, if you have any? And how can we help them achieve them?
I think I already kind of told you the goals. There were no goals.
There were no goals. That's been a big theme of today, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only reason I got into streaming is just have a backseat gamers who just absolutely loves playing like the old gen games or the new gen games, and just watching someone suck so bad that you got to commentate on how to play the game. That's literally that's the only reason I got into it.
So,
because like,
people just need to go and check out TK streams and tell him how to do them better.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Cool. So, with our interviews done, if we move on to the next part of our show, which is the spread the whole. Oh yeah, shit. I'm really bad today. Thanks, Wade. TK, do you have a question for me?
Wow. You know what, CK? It's okay. CK, why do you forget that question?
I don't know. Guys, I've only had about half of it, but I've had half of this drink. Let's blame it on that. It's nice
It's
then.
the drink. Yeah. Well, I guess it's a two question.
Okay.
One, how's the daughter doing?
She's great, and I love her. She is. She's kind of getting a little, I guess, difficult at bedtimes because she's sort of at the point where she needs to stop napping in the day, but she also quite likes a nap.
Yeah.
If you can keep her busy enough, she won't nap, and then she goes to bed at bedtime. At like bedtime today, I put her to bed, and she went to sleep. My God, that doesn't normally happen. Right? The other day.
Tire 'em out.
So, like, I mean, her bedtime, I guess because partly from where I work nights and stuff, if she went to bed when a normal 2-year-old goes to bed, I'd never see her. So her bedtime for a 2-year-old is quite late anyway. Like, she goes to bed at 8 o'clock, we take her upstairs, and then she can read stories until about 20 past 8, and then we put her down, and she's supposed to go to sleep.
Okay.
Right? And
Put
then...
her down?
Yeah, no, not like a vet, but I mean like in her, put her down in her bed. yeah, we don't have this child anymore. We it's funny you should ask.
Adulting hits hard, doesn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, so she should, in theory, she should be asleep by 8:30, and then we get her up at 7:30 in the morning. 11 hours is what a 2-year-old is supposed to have. Shouldn't be a problem.
Alright.
Yeah, the other day, she had a 20-minute nap during the like just after her lunch, which you think wouldn't affect things that much, but then she didn't actually end up going to sleep until about 10:15, and that's very irritating. because when you put her down to bed at like say 8:30 sort of time, and then every 5 minutes she shouts at you going, I don't want to go to bed for an hour and 40 minutes.
Is she still throwing stuff at the daycare?
Uh, no, she's not too bad there. She's behaving a lot better. She did go through a phase of pushing kids, but she hasn't done that in a long time. A couple of times we've been there. A couple of times they've said to us, "It's like well, she's really good. She's the only kid that didn't get in a fight today," and we're like, "Yes."
The 2-year-old classrooms are wild.
Yeah,
those kids are. You really need to know how to handle them en masse.
Yeah.
Which gets to my next question.
Uh-huh.
CK, do you have any advice for those who are looking to have a child?
God, yes. You're always doing better than you think you are. Relax, kids bounce. And generally, actually, the big thing is, with very, very newborn kids, they're fucking easy to look after, okay? Everyone panics, but like all they do, the very first week that we had Lyra, it was really difficult because we were really sleep deprived. After that first week, once we sort of got in the rhythm of things, they eat and then they go to sleep for a few hours, and then you repeat. It's really like that is the big thing. Don't worry about your newborn; they are easy to look after until they're about 6 months old. And then but that first 6 months, as long as you're getting enough sleep, you're fine. It's not a problem at all. So just relax and don't stress. And when you're buying all the stuff before your kid is born, you need a lot less than you think you need. You want to know how much baby proofing is in our house? Literally 0. Right? But Lyra goes into drawers and cupboards and stuff, but she just knows that she's not supposed to eat the things that are in there because she's not an idiot. It's okay.
I can't say that because I've my girlfriend's sister, she's from Nigeria. She brought her baby over. The first thing that this kid does is he sees a sad face on the wall two sad faces, and they're the English plugs. trying to give them a good smooch, and that's like, all right, nope, we gotta put little caps on those now.
Yeah, I guess that's different
Yeah.
if it's something they're not used to seeing. But I mean, like, you know, like we don't have gates on our stairs, and Lyra just learned to go up and down stairs. You know, because
Yeah.
if you don't block things from your kids, they'll just learn how to use them. And I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do understand that perhaps we possibly should have had some baby proofing, but like, you know,
I would have thought the only essential baby proofing is like strapping your tool wardrobes and stuff to the wall. So that, you know, when they start climbing, if they start climbing, they don't
her
fall over
wardrobe,
the
I
bookshelf.
believe, is nailed into the wall. But only
Yeah, well, just so they don't pull a bookshelf on themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, any of our stuff downstairs isn't tied to the wall, so I suppose you could. But again, you just teach her not to climb on it. But it's only actually been quite recent that she started like wanting to climb on stuff anyway. So
The fun begins.
I like how you look back at your bookshelf like, damn, he's right.
But again, I don't know. I mean, again, technically he is right, but like I say, I mean, the sort of thing I would say is she's 2. She's not stupid. Like obviously she doesn't know stuff because she's 2, but she's not stupid. She's not going to pull a bookshelf on her head. Like,
Yeah. Hey, the best teacher though is failure. So I mean, once it happens, she'll know not to do that.
I can guarantee you that is not true because she does the same stupid things over and over and over.
2-year-olds are a little different. They don't have the short-term or the long-term memory to really. Natural consequences don't really exist yet for them.
That's true.
You know,
I worked with kids for 6 years. I've watched a kid eat the same crayon and be like, "Oh, yuck!" I'm like, "You ate it yesterday, Tommy, and it was yuck yesterday." He's just like,
But why is this chocolate eraser smells like chocolate? It must be made out of chocolate.
Thank God we don't have mint gel pens anymore.
yeah. But yeah. So genuinely, my best advice would just be like relax and enjoy it. Enjoy every moment because they are constantly changing and bigger. But before you know it, you're on the next stage of looking after it. Like, you know, like you have a baby, and then you're like, oh, this is, you know. Then before you know it, that's an infant, and before you know it, that's a toddler, and then before you know it, that toddler's a child, and it's just like enjoy all the moments because they go really quick.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's only she's 2 3/4 now. Like, we're starting to plan her 3rd birthday. And it's just like, I can't believe I'm going to have a 3-year-old soon.
"Aw."
I wish we could see you and your child more.
Yes.
And I swear, like every time we see her, it's like a huge leap.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, we had
now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, she talks. I mean, talking is like the one thing she's always excelled at. She's really good at talking. Like, we had it. She's just started at preschool instead of nursery. Like, she's just moved up to the next like group. And they asked us at her preschool. They're like, "How old is she?" And we were like, 2. And she's like, "Okay." She did tell us she was 2, and we didn't believe her because she talks so eloquently.
Yeah.
But yeah, like next time you see her, Wade, she talks like full sentences, like proper conversations. I mean, not necessarily about whatever you ask her. She will just like getting her to stay on topic is difficult, but she will tell you about whatever she thinks in detail.
Excellent. I look forward to it.
Cool. But yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, so as we're actually now going to move on to the next part of the show. Now that the interviews are done, and there's more. Yeah, there's so much more. So much more. This is the Spread the Wholesome part of the show, where I've asked each of my guests to spend a minute to shout out a streamer that they respect or think is worthy of your time, and we can shout them out and get you to go do them. So do you want to go in reverse? Do you want to start with TK and we'll go back round? So TK, who's the streamer you think people should go check out?
Well, I think everyone should go check out SecondHand.
I knew you were going to say that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, you invited me here, so I mean, I really don't know what you suspected, honestly. So I would say that's like my number one right there. And
But if you couldn't
another
pick
one,
me,
if I couldn't pick you, then
Yeah.
there'd be nobody.
oh,
I'm sorry. There's no one else I can top you. Sorry. The next one I'd probably suggest would be Prez of the Castle. It's
I can do
been a
that.
while since I've seen him, but I do know is that man. If you are you seeking any kind of advice, it's him. He's a lot older than I am. He has far more wisdom. He has a better aftershave beard than I do. It's kind of puffy here and there, but it doesn't matter. He has great advice, and he's very wholesome all the time. So
He is.
definitely suggest him.
he is very good at advice. But if you're going on the fact that because he's older than you, he has more wisdom, I'm older than him, so
That's why I suggested you, but you're like,
No, don't do that. You can't tell me. Choose someone else.
yeah. But no, that's fair. People should go and check out Prez. Prez is a big friendo of the channel, and he is a nice guy. Absolutely. Rachel, who would you like to shout out?
Well, obviously I'm gonna have to shout out Spooky Bees because she's literally my sister. And we've been best friends since we were born. She's great. She plays lots of spooky games and gets really scared, and it's funny. She is a mom. She is a girl boss. That girl has worked so hard her entire life, so when she does get a chance to stream, it's always good to tune in and hang out.
Absolutely. I actually do not follow them yet, so I'm going to do a follow now, so I can.
That's because that's the wrong.
How do you do it then? Sorry, ignore that one.
Underscore. Yeah. Hold on, I'll type it in the chat so you can just
Thanks.
copy and paste.
I've broken all the cameras again. 1 second.
Because I think you do. You might follow her because she was in that. She was in that raid train too.
Possibly. But I don't think I do. But I will rectify that if I don't. Like that.
Yes. That's
Yes.
right.
Cool. Right, I will fix the cameras momentarily. I don't. Yeah, there you go.
oh, you caught my bad side. Oh no.
There you go. I have now followed her. I have done
It's
it.
like a daring pose.
Not the weird maths pose. It's so hard to do. Cool. Wade, who would you like to?
I have
Sure.
prepared a name for you.
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat because good luck spelling that. It's Mitsu Hachimitsu. She does a lot of like JRPG and some art stuff and doing commissions. She's always super friendly and just chill, like, you know, very chill vibes. And she'll always take the time to kind of chat about what's happening in your life rather than what's happening in the game. So if that's your kind of deal,
That does sound nice.
you know, she's very, very friendly. And if you like art and want some commissions that she does, you can check her out, see what her art style is up to you. Maybe even throw a little money our way. Not saying you have to do that, but you know.
but that does appear to be the theme of the show.
Throw money to people.
Pay your streamers. No. Don't.
$5.
So yeah, and she's also really knowledgeable and stuff. I mean, she's done. I think her was it a PhD or just her masters? I forget. Apologies, miss.
But some sort of high level.
Some high level. What's the word I'm looking for? Essay.
Education,
Slashed,
degree, qualification.
Dissertation on aspects of video games and stuff. So
Nice.
sometimes she does lectures as well. So it's interesting.
Were you going to put her name for me?
Oh, I put it in a disco. So
Oh, you did.
Just
Right. Got you. Go, everyone. I'm going to have to minimize everything. I'm trying to
I
stream.
can put it. I can put it. in
No,
Twitch
it's fine. I've got it
Right.
now.
He's getting angry, bro.
I was so prepared and it was the wrong preparation.
It's fine. I'm just gonna break everything again. There you go. I already. Shush. Okay. I already followed Prez. That was fine. I've now followed the other two as well, so I can check them out. And should everybody else. Cool. Right. So before we get on to the next part of the chat show, what is a chat show without a quick ad break? Quick ad break. Hey everybody! If you don't know, about 2 weeks ago I released my first single because I also do music. I will have an upcoming album that I'm hoping will be out towards the end of this year, and I released the first single from it. Please go and check it out. It would mean the world to me if you did. It is now available on all major streaming things, like Spotify or Amazon Music or YouTube or Apple Music. The song is called Better Safe Than Lonely. My name is Christopher Kelly. That is what you can find it under. Oh my god, real name is out there. I know. But if you...
Government name.
What's that?
I said government name. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Next, everybody's going to be hacking into my bank account. And if you want to... That's it. And if you... But yeah, so you can find it on all major streaming services. Apparently, if you get 1 million listens on Spotify, it earns you $1,000. So if people want to just put it on Spotify on repeat all day, every day, I'm perfectly okay with that. And
sorry, I don't know.
that's fair. Amazon Music would work, or YouTube. I'm sure. I don't know what their commission is, but there must be some. Or if you want to download it, I know downloads aren't really a thing people do anymore because it's mostly just streamed. But if you want to download it, if you go to officialckmusic.bandcamp. No, it's not .co.uk. I did that wrong. It's .com. God. I don't know. I don't know what will happen if you click that link.
I'll find out.
Alright then.
Let's go.
officialckmusic.bandcamp.com. You can download it as well as the 2 B-sides that come with it for a price of your choosing, including literally free. But if you want to put in a bit of money towards it, I would be greatly appreciated, but obviously you don't have to. But as well as obviously the big advert of you can now listen to my music, which, like I say, anyone who, even a single listen, is really greatly appreciated and amazing to me. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has already checked it out over the last couple of weeks. My sort of big thing, I was like, hey, wouldn't it be really cool if by the end of the year it had 100 listens? Just on Bandcamp, it's had 89. So I know a couple of people have looked at it on Spotify and stuff, so I imagine it's probably close to 100, if not at 100. Unfortunately, I don't know. I can't look at the Spotify statistics and stuff, so I don't know how many looked at. So my kind of thing of like, wouldn't it be cool if it reached this by the end of the year? It's nearly or has already done in... Is it 2 weeks? In 2 weeks, yeah. So thank you so much, everyone who has checked it out, will check it out. And of course, please show it to all your friends, family, your mum and your cat. Like, just spread it around. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful. And if people are looking for a new sort of music to listen to, especially if they're into like pop punk and punk rock sort of vibes, it would be really cool if you could send it their way. Thanks. Okay, so next part of the show is the kind of the bulk of the show. We're just going to have a chat. We're just going to talk about whatever we feel like. If anybody has anything they want to talk about, please let me know and we can start off.
Hilarious awkward silence. It was
Yeah.
bound to happen.
No, that's fine.
Florida man. Let's get back to that.
Yes, so
Florida man. Oh god.
we talked about just before we went live. Rachel was saying that how she lives in Florida. So Wade's question was, what's the latest Florida man event?
I don't know what the latest Florida man.
Or have you heard a
event
good
is,
Florida
but
man?
I have a personal story, but then I also have. I was doom scrolling TikTok. That's what I do before I go to sleep.
That's fair.
And this person, I guess, was visiting Florida, and there's like a sign that says "Do not feed or molest the alligators," and he was like, "What Florida man story.
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing is, because that's added to the sign, you know that that's happened.
Somebody tried. Okay, but the Florida man one I have, I guess, is it was like a guy I was talking to, and I don't know if this is Florida man, but kind of, because it involves like guns and stuff. And he was like, he was very I don't know how to explain it. Like, not aggressive, but very insistent that we meet at night. And because he was like, he worked overnights, and he was like, well, I have this between like, you know, I work from like 1 a.m. to this time, so I can meet, you know, 9, 10, 11 p.m. and hang out. And I was like, well, I'm a woman, so I'm not gonna meet you, a stranger, in the middle of the night by myself. And he was like, well, no, we can meet at like a sports bar or something. I was like, women go missing from public places all the time. I'm not trying to say that that's gonna happen, but also everyone I know that could help me is gonna be asleep at that time. So no, if you want to meet, we're gonna meet in the daytime in public somewhere. And he was like, well, he kept pushing it until I finally had to like put my foot down. But the Florida man part was like, one night he messages me and he's like, oh, you should totally, like, we were talking about our nerd paraphernalia, and I was like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of like, you know, Star Trek and all this stuff on my in my shelves and whatever. And he was like, oh yeah, I like to collect stuff too. He's like, you should totally come over and like see my weapons collection. And I was like, it is 11:30 p.m. I would very much like to not get murdered tonight.
I should say,
so
even if, regardless of what time, if somebody I didn't know said, do you want to come over and see my weapons collection, the answer would be no.
I think
No
people might
thanks.
say yes.
yeah, and he,
Depends on the weapon selection. What are we talking about here?
well, apparently tons of knives and guns.
Oh.
Yeah, typical
Yeah.
Florida man
Like,
things.
it'd be, I was gonna say, it'd be a
Far,
bit
far
different.
away.
It'd be a bit different if he was like, oh yeah, I've got an antique cannon. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's probably not gonna shoot me with it.
How's he
He
gonna
led
tell me
with-
that?
He led with, oh, I have this really cool World War II like rifle that, you know, my great grandfather. And I was like, that's cool. You know, my dad likes that era. He's very like obsessed with World War II and all of that. And then he was like, that's when he was like, oh yeah, you should come see my weapons collection. I was like, no. I don't think so. Thanks for asking.
I appreciate the attempt at subterfuge.
I'm gonna block you now.
Yeah.
I just had like this image of, you know, you're going to this person's house, right? You ring the doorbell, and it says, come in. You open the door, and there's just a fat cannon just pointing right at the main door.
And
He's wearing this full red coat outfit, and like, what's going on in here?
And the problem is, you know that full well it'd have showed you all of these different like rifles or whatever he's got, and then it'd have gone, and my biggest guns are right here.
oh, I don't know if it would have been right here.
Well, yeah, or right here.
Yeah, he would have been like, my biggest gun is, and I'd be like, oh, debatable.
So,
Oh man.
I mean,
But yeah, that's my Florida man story. It's not the best one, but oof, it was.
we don't have like, I guess, like proper like sort of Florida man-esque things, but one sort of really stupid story that I remember always as sort of like a good British nonsense story is there was this thing, I think it's probably about 20 years ago now, but this person was visiting London Zoo, and one of the elephants there picked something up and threw it at her, because at that time the enclosure, I guess, didn't fully enclose the elephant so it could get stuff out at the people visiting the zoo. Obviously, being hit by something an elephant would throw probably hurt quite a lot. I think it was like a small bit of tree or something that it threw at her.
Oh.
so obviously she wanted to sue them because, you know, that is what people would do. And it turns out that to go through the courts under like a gross neglect or something takes a really long time. What is much quicker is to try and sue them for assault. So instead she tried to do the elephant for assault as a
Incredible.
because that is a quicker thing to get through courts than it is to get the London Zoo for gross negligence.
And how did that go?
Not well, because you cannot sue an elephant for assault.
I was about to say.
Just imagining like this elephant's on a Zoom call in court.
I'm not a cat.
Well, they can put on her little name card. She'll get famous. Be like, oh yeah, she's like a felon. She assaulted someone.
Oh yeah, that would have been really cool if the zoo had really played up to it. You know? Our elephant here is she's in elephant jail now because she's
That elephant there, you see him? Yeah. She has a criminal record.
yeah, she'll fuck you up.
The world record for elephant cabotage.
Yeah. What's the world record for elephants committing murder? I don't know.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably
they're-
like
yeah.
5 or 6 for like elephants.
No,
that were
just
abused in
in the UK. Just in the UK.
Oh,
I
just
don't
in the
know.
UK.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, we're
Maybe
actually
not as funny.
we're actually not allowed out anymore. We're under a constant curfew due to constant elephant rampage. It's
I reckon it because you know we used to go around taking things that weren't ours and claiming them as our own historically.
Oh, I thought you meant when you said we. I thought you just meant us as kids. You remember when we used to go and nick shit? No.
The Brits.
The Brits, yes.
Yeah, so we would have had zoos and circuses, and we definitely won't have treated elephants well back in the day. So I imagine there's probably a decent number of murders to an that can be attested to an elephant.
Yeah.
No.
I'm going to Google it. Which elephant has killed the most people?
Oh yes.
We'll find
Elephants
out.
do hold grudge too. Did you guys heard about the? I think she was a lady who was like helping poachers or something, and it killed one of the elephants in the herd, and then the elephant came to her funeral and like ransacked her casket, and then it came back the next year to her grave and like stomped all over her grave.
Wow.
They got one hell of a good memory.
They do.
So this is genuinely what Google has given. I know my phone doesn't show up on the camera, and that's nonsense
I
to
got
you.
the flashlight.
But-
That's nice.
Read it.
But this is genuinely what my phone has come up with as the immediate thing. Is just Osama bin Laden was a rogue bull elephant named after the notorious terrorist leader. he was he was responsible for at least 27 deaths and the destruction of property in the jungled Sonitpur district of the Indian state of Assam.
Wow. Okay.
Fantastic.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm ever going to use that information, but thank you.
They,
Just a random icebreaker. Did you know?
I can add it.
Osama bin Laden was also an elephant.
Yeah, and also an elephant terrorist. I can add it to my list of random animal facts.
Are those ones you're going to tell Lyra when she asks about animals?
Yes. Yeah. Hey Lyra, did you know that a kangaroo has 3 vaginas, but only 2 wombs? What's the third one for?
Why not?
I did not know that they had 3 vaginas. Thank you for
they
that.
do. There you go. Yeah, but they have
Essential information.
they have 2 wombs. The idea is that they can get pregnant in both, and then if they miscarry from one, they still have a child, and that's a good backup idea, I guess. Evolutionary
Well,
speaking.
that makes sense, but why do they have a 3rd vagina?
Exactly. What I think it's the pleasure cave.
Maybe. Maybe. Perhaps.
Perhaps. You know, that's one of my weird animal facts. That's my favourite one that I like to come up with because people never know how to react to it.
Yeah, I just hope someone just came into your stream and that's the first thing they hear.
Yeah, I mean, Dyer's only been here about 2 minutes, so it was close.
Completely without context.
Yeah.
Straight into
I mean, even in context, it's not a great thing to overhear randomly. So, and then there's the other thing, which I like to do whenever people make the misinformed and horrible argument that gay, like being gay, is not natural or anything. There's the whole thing of like the the octopuses can't tell gender until they link together. Usually, if they are the same gender, they will then within about 10 to 20 minutes they will unlink and not do anything But there was a big example in San Francisco Zoo of 2 male octopuses being linked together for about 3 hours.
Nice.
Having a jolly good time.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, there's loads of, I'm pretty sure dolphins express.
Yeah.
Dolphins, lions,
ducks.
Hedgehogs.
Yeah.
Primates,
Really
lots of
bad.
primates.
Did you know sea otters, they're if you haven't looked them up recently, sea otters have begun to really start getting serious with mating. I mean, very, very serious, to the point they'll kill their own mate and they'll start mating with the dead mate. Yeah, they're really serious.
It seems a little too serious.
Yeah. I mean,
Like dolphins and ducks.
yeah, I was
Right
gonna
now they're trying to figure out why.
say. I know some people like it rough, but that's too much. That's
That seems like not a great evolutionary development for their species.
Hi everybody, we're talking about weird animal sex today.
Backwards. We want to go
Down the
extinct.
chain. I think that's my history professor would say, is natural selection. It'll take its place. Yeah.
I feel like we don't let natural selection happen enough these days.
That
Sometimes.
is possibly true.
People are like, "Oh, I'm gonna insert bleach into my veins to combat COVID." No, don't do that. No, just
That,
Let 'em
excuse me,
do it.
do you remember Tide Pods? We would eat Tide
Yeah.
Pods as candy, and then
Do you
after
even
that,
pod, bro?
a year later, there was a challenge to lick toilet seats on planes.
never even considered.
That was
yeah.
during COVID.
At least licking toilet seats during COVID isn't going to kill you, probably. Like, it seems like there's a low chance of that
Yeah,
happening.
can you get COVID from butts? I'm not sure about that.
Gross.
It'd be like, I licked a toilet seat. It tasted like ass sweat.
Like ass sweat.
Yeah. I did say I don't think you'd necessarily get ill. I suppose if it was a really bad toilet seat, you might get pink eye.
Pink eye, you can get like a, I don't know, whatever is on a person's butt. I mean, if they never shower or clean themselves, I mean, you could catch maybe, I don't know,
Fungus.
an STD or a fungal infection, or
Yeah.
I mean, there could be like, there's a whole list of things you could catch.
But
But again,
Could it be
natural
COVID?
selection. Yeah. It's if that's a choice that you made. Like every time I see a warning label that's really obvious on something, it hurts my heart because I'm like, some fucking idiot tried that and then lived to sue the company
Can I tell you my 3 favorite warning signs?
Oh, is one of the kids on fire on the back of a box of matches?
No, but please tell me that afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, so there's one where it's like, which is I think kind of harmless and a bit funny, but on the bottom of like Quality Street packets, which are like tubs of sweets essentially, but there's on the bottom of them it says do not read this while the lid is off,
Amazing.
because all the sweets will fall out. It's silly. There's also one, I believe it's on the Canada border somewhere, I'm pretty sure. It's like a giant luminous yellow sign that just has in big letters, the corners of this sign are sharp, and then really small writing at the bottom, welcome to Canada.
Oh no.
That's not on purpose.
I quite like that. And then my favourite of all is they used to have to print on nuclear submarines warning this may cause damage to health. And it's like,
Where?
that's
On
the
the outside?
fucking point.
On the inside.
I believe on the outside. But it's like, it is designed to fire nuclear warheads. It is supposed to cause damage to health. That is what it is there for. But please tell me about Children on Fire.
Oh yeah. So this was in the back. I don't know if you get this on other countries, but certainly on most of, like if you get a box of Swan matches, yeah, you probably have some in your cupboard somewhere, wherever you keep your matches.
Lighters, but not. I don't know that keeps matches anymore.
Well, anyway, if we get this beautiful thing, that is the wrong button. I wanted to do share. It's not going to come up, is it? I was trying to turn my camera into a screen. But you get this beautiful warning: fire kills children picture because they don't want kids striking matches or whatever. It's a red square with a stick figure inside, which has a face, and they're burning. I will provide a picture into the Discord so you can enjoy it. There you are. And then this is one of my favourite.
Oh, stop it!
Wow.
That's
There we go, everyone.
Incredible.
Oh my!
It's great. It's just on the back of like all the matches, not all, but a lot of the matches we used to get in the UK.
I really hope that
It's not wrong.
it's not.
It is
No.
wrong.
I really hope that when I upload this to YouTube at some point, that it just chooses that random second to be one of the suggested thumbnails, so I can just.
Like, what's it gonna be today?
It's gonna save me scrolling to exactly 1 hour and 35 through the thing.
Yeah.
There's your time screen view. Bam! Time screen. I know what I meant. You know what I meant.
Timestamp.
This YouTube video can make me catch on fire.
I was gonna say. So again, I didn't think I would need to say any of this, but just for anybody watching, please do not lick toilet seats or set kids on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or molest
Don't molest the alligators, guys. They don't like it.
No.
Something like-
That's it. Talk to your
Probably
alligator.
not actually.
Talk to your alligator and get its consent.
Yeah.
Yes.
The word molesting suggests a
Yeah.
Suggest there's not consent.
yeah,
Yeah.
not yeah.
They will eat you. Just and not in the fun way.
Exactly. Not not unless it molests you back.
I didn't consent.
Not
There's-
consent to being eaten by alligators or crocodiles.
Yeah.
There was one warning label. Not really a warning label, but if you remember Dark Souls 2, I remember
Yes.
the picture of it online. This it says on the disc, look at the back of the disc. It says in quote, look at the back of the disc for something scarier. And you flip it, and it's just a reflective image. You see your face. I was like, that is pure geniusness.
That's
Especially
so
for back
funny.
in those days. Ah, beautiful.
I was thinking that you were going on about, you know how you can place like the little signs for other people to read,
Yeah.
and you can write whatever you want on them. I saw a little short video. I think it was in Elden Ring. It was in one of the Souls-ish games, Souls-adjacent games. It doesn't matter which one. Anyway, so normally you read it and it's like, oh, passageway or good luck or something like this. So this one just said fireball, and then the person immediately gets hit by a fireball. You have to stop to read the sign. You're like, oh, what's this sign say? Fireball. I just found that really funny.
That's a good bit of comic timing.
It's an incredible troll, yes. It's like, well, what would be great to put here? Excellent.
Well, the thing I imagine about that is to put that note there. They probably also got killed by that fireball.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know whether there's a way to disable it after you complete the area or something.
Oh, maybe.
Went back to it afterwards. Or whether they just were just like, we're just gonna tank it. Because for the lols.
Yeah, I do like how obviously the Souls games are quite they're designed to be sort of fairly difficult anyway, and everyone's just got on board with that by trying to shift on all the other players as much as they possibly can by leaving stupid messages.
You know what? I did like play. I played Dark Souls 1. Have Elden Ring, but I haven't played it. And I like the fact that they're challenging and difficult, but I don't like the multiplayer aspect. As in,
The invasions and stuff.
yeah, like that just irks me. Because I'm like, oh, the game's enough a challenge. I don't want some person who's clearly amazing to come and just ruin my day.
You can just play it.
Ruin my own day.
Just play it offline, and then you won't get
Yeah,
that.
you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you only get invaded if you like summon your friends. So
No, you can be invaded anyway. I think you're more likely to be invaded when there's more of you, and certain areas of the game invasions are increased.
I bought Elden Ring because I watched Markiplier, I think, play it, and I was like, oh, I can do this. No. So I died to the same like 3 goblins 72 times, and then I was like, you know what? This might be a watch other people play this game kind of game, because I can't. But the first message that I read was try finger butthole. That was the first one that I came in contact with when I played Elden Ring.
It's good advice.
That's exactly what we want from our gaming community.
Yeah.
Try finger butthole.
So then it just became jumping off all the cliff simulator, because why not? It lets me.
If I'm going out my own terms.
Yep. So, we used to do Spider-Man 2 on the PS2, widely regarded as one of the best superhero games ever made. But it didn't have the thing that most modern Spider-Man games have, where like if you hit the floor, you don't like it will do something to stop you dying from like terminal velocity. Spider-Man 2, you can fall and die if you don't bother to catch yourself with webs. So me and my brother used to do a thing where we would climb up the Empire State Building and then play chicken. Just like swan dive and then try and catch yourself at the last moment. But that game had a really good satisfying bone crunch if you hit the floor really hard.
Was it?
Sorry, you go.
I was gonna say, is that the game? I remember there was a meme about it where you have to hit A to jump or save this woman who's trapped in a fire.
Yes.
And I was like,
that's
the jump. It pants her.
Yeah, I think that's like the final mission of the game. But yeah, it has
Save me! I'm gonna die!
Look, for the time it came out, it was really good.
There's no eyes in the poor model. Like
I miss those out of like all the games I've created. I miss those type of games where the devs will have free time to put an Easter egg in, something that's hilarious, something that's funny. But nowadays, all the games are very strict based. There can't be any glitches. The game has to be fixed right when it's released. Ish. There's some games that don't do that anymore.
Bethesda.
But I miss. But I do miss those like small Easter eggs that will make you giggle, kind of like what Disney used to do with Toy Story, like behind the scenes.
Yeah, I used to love the Toy Story
voice
outtakes.
actors. Yeah, voice actors would be. I miss those. They would hand animate. By the way, back in those days, animating 3D characters with NURBS, not that easy. It was very, very difficult. So seeing them have enough time to do all that pleases the heart.
So I was actually talking to Ramen about this yesterday. Have you watched Pokemon Concierge on Netflix?
I'm too poor for that.
Okay, that's fair. But basically, it's like a short like Pokemon series about like Pokemon going to stay at a Pokemon resort. So it's like a holiday for your Pokemon. But it's all done in stop animation.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's so nice. But it's there's only 4 episodes. It's like the first 3 are 10 minutes and the last one's 15 minutes. But like that is because it's stop animation. Even like the 10-minute episode is months and months of work. Like it's and like it did really well. And everyone's like, oh, there's only 4 episodes and they're all really short. We want more of it. And the people who made it were like, okay, we'll make a season 2. Like, it is confirmed they will do a season 2, but they're like, do not expect it anytime soon at all, because this takes ages to make.
You know what surprises me about stop motion things? And this is a very British thing, I apologise if you don't know what I'm going on about. Wallace and Gromit. So they've announced a new Wallace and Gromit, right? I swear, the factory burns down every 5 years.
Yeah?
Like, I swear, every
Well, like
5 years we
Aardman
get
Studios.
this, oh, the Wallace and Gromit factory burned down again.
Did you see
It's like,
the thing this year was the people that they buy their modelling clay from? It's the two people who run it are retiring, but they couldn't find anyone to take over the business, so the business is just shutting down. And everyone was like, "Oh my god, there's going to be no more Wallace and Gromit because they're not going to be able to get their modelling clay anymore." And they had to put out an official statement being like, "It's okay, we have enough to finish the 2 films we're working on because we backstock this shit because of course we do."
Nice.
And then they were like, and then we will just buy modelling clay somewhere else.
God forbid.
You know.
It buys slightly different modelling clay.
That's it. It's like it's not going to end Aardman Studios because our modelling clay supplier has stopped.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. No, please.
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say maybe that was the latest like disaster for factory burning down. I remember in my head. Although I am gonna look it up because I swear I have it times.
Coincidental?
Yeah.
I think no my.
Yeah, it's for the insurance money. Every 5 years, they're like, shit, nobody's watching our film.
Well, I mean, for how much time it takes just to do the stop motion with clay, and the amount of hours they're going to accumulate for all the employees just to do it all, it's like, when you get some money back, guys.
Yeah. Like,
I know how we're going to do that.
Yeah. I remember watching a behind-the-scenes thing for the Pirates and Adventure with Scientists, which is a great film. But they were saying just the scene where like the bathtub slides down the stairs took them 7 months to do. Just that one scene.
Oh my god.
Because there is a lot of moving parts, and clay is hard to work with.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
And it's like,
They're
what,
working.
3 minutes in the film? And it's just, it was 7 months of their life.
When I worked at in a film studio, we would have a collection of these, what I want to call abstrosities, like of animations that we've had, and sometimes it's just because the software that we use, Maya, sometimes it'll just have a mental breakdown out of nowhere. And so as we're working, sometimes the skin or the bone structures of our characters will just stretch to eons. Like it'll go outer space, we don't even know where it's at. We'll hit like the A key to focus in on that joint that went missing. It's nowhere to be seen. Like it's out of space. It's non-existent anymore. And we've had like a whole folder of just these most beautiful, ugly shots. Some of them, some of the some people have like Photoshop and Illustrator skills. They'll with the time they have, they'll just go into Photoshop and just start putting all these pieces together, and they'll just have it as a background onto the computer. And so when we have like these professionals walking by, they've seen some of our movies and clips before, and so they're walking by and they just see like this absolute monstrosity with all of our characters on this person's background. It is the most funniest thing in the world. Because they're like, I hired these people, and this is what I'm seeing. It's like, yeah. But there's always so much stuff that goes wrong in the making of films. It's always funny to be working with, though.
I do kind of miss the era of about 5-10 years ago where you would get a lot of visual character model glitches in video games, and fail videos were like a huge thing on YouTube at the time as well. And you could just see all these like cutscenes where people's faces don't render in, but their skulls and their eyes are there, and it's just like, oh god. And you just don't
Once
get that
human.
anymore. Oh,
Once human is good for that. And it's a free game, so nobody can really complain about how long it takes to fix it. So
nice. Is that a bit buggy AF at the minute? Oh, graphically.
graphically for a free game, I'd say it's really good. Like, the graphics are not bad at all. The gameplay is really fun, but there are times where, like, you'll walk up to a town and it's just like clay, and it takes a minute for it to like render in.
Yep.
And sometimes people are only eyes and teeth. It happens. Yeah, but I find those things funny. I'm a Sims player, like, and I play Sims with like 700 mods, so there's gonna be like, sometimes the infant is like attached to my Sim's ankle and she's just walking around the house with her baby on her ankle. Sometimes the dog stands up and stretches like a scary creature, because I don't know why that happens, but it does. It is all kinds of silly, like, I feel like if it's not really affecting the gameplay that much, like if it's not ruining some kind of boss fight or something, I just leave it alone. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I love visual bugs. I think that.
Yeah.
I know there's the big thing, obviously, when Cyberpunk came out, that loads of YouTubers and like Twitch streamers and stuff were getting all their things like demonetized because their like dicks used to keep clipping through the truck clothes and.
Yeah. There's a group
funny.
of YouTubers I know of that would always try and find glitches in Black Ops 2 Day. And the thing is that for large corporations, they do not like to see glitches at all, because they like perfection, picture perfect. And so they'll try to grind out any kind of errors they see, because it could cause to be it could become more of a problem if it's not fixed. Like if someone's walking through walls, someone could later find out, oh, I can also shoot through these walls. It's like, well, the game's broken now. I can't do anything about it. But there was a group of YouTubers that used to find glitches all the time, and Activision would actually watch their videos and find the glitches that they kept causing and fix them. But the thing is, though, is that they were reached out, an Activision employee was reached out to them saying, hey, we need you all stop playing our game because it requires us to go in and fix it. And also, you're blacklisted from any advertisements from us in the near future.
Well, and
they're not in good terms, but
I do get people being upset, because nowadays every game is like $60, $70. So it's like, I get it when people are upset, because it's like, you paid a good chunk of change through this game, it should work. I wanna fight EA so hard, because not only did they, every pack is $39 and every pack is broken when it comes out, and it's like, how are you getting away with this? I don't understand how that's okay. I think there is possibly a class action suit in the works.
They are getting away with it because people keep paying for it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Not for nothing. If I'm gonna figure out how to pirate shit, why not? Sue me. Anyway, but yeah, I get why people get upset about things like that, but I think silly glitches are funny, so I don't mind them as long as they're not like the one that happened to me in Elden Ring, but it turned out it's because my laptop was too shitty. But all the bad guys disappeared. Like, I couldn't see them, but they were still attacking me.
Oh god.
So like, I would just walk through an area and get absolutely blasted, and I can't see any of them. And I'm like, what is happening?
It's kind of like the Skyrim music. Enemy music kicks in. You're like, it's like, the music's playing. Where's the enemy?
Where are
I
they?
see him.
Where's it coming from?
The dragon music's on, but I don't see a dragon.
No, but I'm getting eaten by one.
Kind of impressive that it, like, the thing that it didn't load was the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
thought that might have been one of the first things in priority order, but I mean, I know nothing about programming.
I think my laptop was just, it didn't have a good enough graphics card to run Elden Ring at the time, because on my tower it runs fine.
Right,
Not that I play it because I can't, but it but it runs like all the games. My tower runs all the games fine, but it's a much newer computer, so.
And nowadays games are requiring a lot more RAM, a lot more memory in order just to play it, and it's like, What happened to the good old 90 megabyte and it has no flaws?
I'm like my computer is decent, but it's not like super decent. I think I'm on a 1760 Ti graphics card, and I'm getting away with it for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, as you know, if you could save spending several £100 on a way better graphics card, I will keep doing that until eventually games get too good and I'll be like, oh, I can't play this game now. And then I'll relent.
That's the reason I literally love consoles so much, is
Mhm.
because you never really have to upgrade a console at all. Because when games are released, they're required to have a certain amount of specs before being released to either PlayStation or Xbox. Because if they don't meet those requirements, the game is not being published for Xbox or PlayStation. But I mean, Xbox One was like out for how long? Like what, 5 years? And you never even had to change out the graphics card or anything on it. And every game that was coming out, you just play on the Xbox. So they're just fine. But if you're trying to play on a tower on your PC, it's like, damn.
Yeah, when I bought
You
my
wait,
tower,
gotta go shopping.
my friend
Tower's
works
overheating.
for Geek Squad, so I was just like, I don't know anything about computers. Find me a decent priced one that's gonna run what I need to run, and I don't have to upgrade it for the next few years. She was like,
Yeah.
got you.
I can't focus on it.
I do the same whenever I decide to upgrade my laptop. I just gotta say to my brother, because he understands computers, I'm like, what laptop is good for streaming?
CK, do you have a mouse?
Not plugged in.
Oh, okay. Whenever I used to watch your Gartic phone sessions, it's like this man is drawing with the trackpad. Or
I would have been drawing with a mouse pad. I have a mouse somewhere. I just don't ever really use it.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, he's drawing with a little purple dot in the middle of the keyboard. What was it called?
Oh, I don't have one of them.
Oh, yeah. I forgot what
They
they're
were
called,
shit.
but
Yeah.
no. But I'm just imagine he's drawing with that now.
They don't
No.
exist anymore.
No, they don't.
But
There used to be a little mouse center of the keyboard.
yeah,
For those who are too young, you can Google it.
it's
But there used to
between
be a
G and
little-
H, right?
Yeah, G
Yeah.
and H. A little rubber dot. You can just move it up and down, and it would be, I want to say, super sensitive, and it would.
Speaking of those who are too young to remember mouse things, do you remember having to clean out the rollerball?
Oh yeah. Get a little white cloth, and just kind of like drag it up and down the thing to clean it.
Unscrew the bottom of the mouse and the ball, because they were great fun to play with as a kid.
Oh
No.
yeah, tons of fun.
I don't think I ever did that.
What?
Then-
Ever?
No.
Man,
I
miss
remember
out.
once at school, you remember the IT lab? Oh, what was his name? Mr. Ramsden?
That was a person.
The angry English teacher?
He wasn't. Yeah.
was-
He was the angry
Someone-
English teacher.
Yeah, someone from our class had like stolen 3 mouse balls or something. So he kept the whole class back, and he was just like, everyone was like looking really timid. And he was like, "We've lost these 3 mouse balls, and then I will squeeze you, and I will squeeze you, and I will squeeze you until we find out who's got these balls."
Yeah, I love how much like our teachers just threatened us.
Yeah,
It was
I
fine.
think they got them back.
That was the best way to teach.
I think they got them back.
I think when
That's
we
how-
were, when I was in programming in my high school, we would have one of my friends would have a game. I'm not gonna say what game it is because I'll definitely probably get sued. But we had let's just say it's by a AAA game. Actually, no, they don't own it anymore. Haha, because the company that owned it didn't exist. We had Age of Empires 1. We had it on the gold disc. And my friend went ahead and copied all that data onto a flash drive. And so we just installed it on some of the computers in the IT room. And so as we're learning to program for websites, the teacher will walk right past us. we would immediately close Age of Empires, and it just looked like as if we were working. Meanwhile, we're playing multiplayer with some of the other classmates across the classroom. We're all hiding. So if you're getting attacked and the teacher walks past you, you're like, see ya, you're gone, you're dead.
I remember, like, the thing I always used to like doing at school, because nobody knew how to, like, none of the IT teachers or librarians at our school knew how to fix it, was, you used to be able to push Control Alt and then an arrow and it would rotate the screen orientation.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So you used to go, you used to go and do Control Alt down, so the screen was flipped 180, and then just do it to every PC at school, and then just walk away. And they had no idea at all. You'd come in the next day and there'd be people with their monitors literally turned upside down so they can use the screen the right way.
I know people who would just like shove, like, the troll face. They would shove it in the CD drive. So when you open the CD drive, it either, one, it would get jammed, or two, you get a troll face with it also being jammed. Because the paper would jam the gears in, so you couldn't open it anymore. So, man.
What about when you have to get your mum off the phone to go on the internet?
Oh yeah.
God, yep.
Go pick up go try your luck with the Snow Joe on Neopets during the 1 hour time slot in the day when it was asleep.
I remember before being like off school, ill or something, and then just being like, oh well, I'm just going to play Flash games, which is horrifically expensive on dial-up as well. To spend a whole day playing Flash games. Yeah, and then I remember, like, my dad came home that day and he's like, I've tried to phone you like 4 times. I was like, I don't know.
That's wild. Maybe the whole line was busy. I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, it just made horrible noises.
And then came out the pinball machine for Windows XP.
Oh, the Space Cadets!
Yeah.
Space Cadets pinball, what a game!
That was the pinnacle of life right there.
No, the pinnacle of life was, your first polyphonic ringtone and Snake 2.
Spending $5.99 for a different ringtone.
With the flip phone, dude, it was gold.
We're so old.
that or Minesweeper. I mean, Minesweeper's been around.
Minesweeper is amazing.
Yeah. But I think when it was like first intimidating to play it, because you have no idea what to do, and YouTube wasn't the thing back in those days, so you're like trying to guess like what all these numbers mean.
Even the sentence "YouTube wasn't a thing back then" is weird, isn't it? Right?
No. Yeah.
Thinking about a time when YouTube wasn't around.
And YouTube used to have the logo of a TV with 2 dials on it.
It would have.
Yeah, and now it's changed to like the little play button. I think that's when Google bought it, or was it before that? I can't remember. No.
I don't remember again.
No.
No.
Before it got big, YouTube was like everything else on the internet. It was just full of porn.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? I just remember PewDiePie.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Twitch was the same, wasn't it? Like before it sort of got big, when Twitch first started, it was just loads of people streaming porn.
Yeah.
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 But it's basically how every website starts. It starts with porn and then it moves into something that people actually want. unless it's just a porn, in which case it stays as porn.
Vine wasn't like that. Vine was actually just clips of just the most stupidest, hamest things. It's kind of like TikTok, but it was a little bit more sane, a bit.
Yes.
I think, Vine had a different vibe than TikTok. Vine was more, I don't know, I feel like it was better. The content.
Because it was,
it was just dumb stuff.
10
It wasn't,
years ago?
overly produced or anything. Like nowadays, I feel like all the TikTok stuff is.
Yeah, but you need to be productive. Was what made Vine different compared to TikTok. TikTok, you already have the assets there, and everyone just hops onto a trend. Whereas Vine, every creator had their own different theme that they had going on, and there really wasn't much editing software Vine could give you. You had to do all that stuff by hand. So you had to use Premiere Pro or After Effects or some kind of free software out there that you could get your hands on.
Honestly, the best era of TikTok was pandemic era because I feel like that was the time where it was most like Vine because people were just doing dumb shit because they were bored.
Yeah, it was genuine, like at-home stuff rather than like, oh, this person's doing this thing. Let's also do this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, look at this stupid thing I can do. I can walk around the entire my house without touching the floor. Because why not?
This is about the time that I lost contact with the internet because I have a big thing that, like, with everyone who knows me, is I famously just don't know any memes ever. It's like, and I never watched Vine. I don't have TikTok. I only see what TikToks Katie shows me, and most of them I couldn't care about. And I understand if I had my own TikToks, it would create an algorithm that would show me stuff that I might care about. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't have Instagram or Snapchat either. I'm just such an old man.
Oh.
TK, you're not, man. I don't have TikTok. I don't have Snapchat. I have Instagram. Never use it. I have Facebook. Never use it.
Yeah, I don't ever use Facebook really.
I have a Twitter. Never use it. Like,
I use Twitter to shitpost mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep saying, like, because really I only use Twitter to be like, hey, I'm going live soon, and I keep being like, I should put a slightly more effort into it because I know, and obviously people don't react to just going live posts unless you actually have a Twitter profile that's worth looking at anyway. And I'm like, I should really put more effort, but then I'm just like, I don't have anything to say. Like, I'm not interesting. Like,
I feel like it's one of those things where if you get into a habit of coming up with something, of twisting of something that is every day to something.
But I feel like the only things I'd ever have to talk about it would be like, you know, when like people first start doing like, or when like Facebook first started and people would be like, oh, I just had breakfast. You know, that's what my sort of tweets would be because there's nothing else going on in my life. It's bored at work again. You know,
comes up on my Facebook memories. It's like
Facebook memories is about the only thing I use Facebook for, or that is, or like the instant messenger, and that's really and 90% of that is just talking to you. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if Facebook just got diminished to it's my chat with Wade, I'd be okay with that.
Mine is glorified photo storage. That's pretty much
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a way of, for me, it's mostly just the messenger.
Yeah. Because I find that whenever I scroll through Facebook now, it is like 99% adverts.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot.
Or stupid people, and I can't deal with that.
Oh, it's certainly a lot.
It drives me crazy. Yeah. That's funny. That's so wholesome. My Twitter's like, oh my god, I'm trying to get my sim pregnant by the Grim Reaper. Let's see what happens.
But that's fun.
What is the baby gonna look like?
why is it suggesting me this? I'm gonna keep going.
Is that something that's actually, can you actually do that? Can you?
Yes,
Wow.
you can. You need cheats though. You can't just do
Oh, okay.
it. Yeah. Well, so far she's gotten pregnant by the scarecrow in her backyard. She's gotten pregnant by, I think he's a werewolf. My goal is that she has a baby by every supernatural character in the game.
That'd be
Why
cool.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's currently pregnant by the Grim Reaper, by the way. We'll see. I was very disappointed that the Scarecrow's baby didn't come out with the pumpkin on his head. I was very sad.
Maybe. You remember there's that, I think it was in Sims 3, but there was the old glitch where all the babies were born with no face. Right? It kind of just the eyes and teeth vibe, like that sort of thing. But it was just in like, little kids, all of them were born with no face. It was just a glitch that was in the game.
No.
But maybe
All
that's
the
how the Grim...
infants have, all the infants have demon eyes, and it's just like a they're all, it's like weird colored eyes, red or like purple or like
That's fun.
super green or yellow or something, and you can't fix it because The Sims doesn't let you change the eye color on the infants for some reason. It's very annoying, but you know.
Hey, so, I mean,
Yay.
speaking of kids being born with demon eyes, a thing I didn't know until I had a child is just for like the first 2 weeks, their eyes are black.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. like because it takes a while for the color to come in. And, like a newborn baby can only see about like 20 centimeters in front of their face because they can't absorb the light yet.
And they don't need to.
But yeah, I remember being like, oh my god, I was like, I have the most metal child ever. She's got black eyes. And they were like, no, that's just how it will be. And I was like, oh.
Aw.
I'm slightly disappointed.
Yeah. It's like, don't get me wrong, she has like the most beautiful blue eyes now. But also, if they were still black, it would have been really cool.
You know, there's a solution to that. It's called
Paint her eyes. What?
Paint her eyes.
There's like contact lenses that are for cosplaying, but black ones.
Yeah, but
Probably a cosplay.
like you can tell that you do not have a child because you've suggested putting contact lenses in a child's face.
At least I didn't suggest painting them.
Yeah, right. You do.
Well, I
have a
mean,
child.
you could paint on their eyelids.
Could paint on her eyelids.
That's true.
Quite
You
the same,
could.
is it?
No, they're still gonna be just as creepy though.
Yeah, I guess.
I remember going back to the cheats thing. SimCity SimCity 4 used to have a system where if you use the cheat too much, it would punish you. So if you try to use like some amount of cash, if you kept trying to spawn in more and more money for yourself, the game would kick in and say, you use this cheat too much, now we're going to start an earthquake and your whole city would be demolished.
Stop.
And no, back in the days though, is the only way to get cheats were to off of, if you went to the book fair or you went to your local library, you get a cool little book that says cheat codes on it, and have a bunch of games on it, and like you'd be searching for your game, and it's like, here's the cheats, and you'd be like, just kind of like typing them in, and yeah.
It's hard to explain that to younger people, like how the internet just wasn't so prevalent. Because I try to explain stories where like some kind of, very normal illness is happening and I think I'm dying because I can't just go to Google and be like, hey, although Google will tell
Google
me.
will always tell you
you
you're
died 3
dying,
days
yeah.
ago. Yeah,
They will tell you you've got
Google
cancer.
will be like, well, you died of cancer 3 days ago, actually. So, but like, people are like, well, why did you think this? How could you possibly think it was this? Obviously, it's this. And I'm like, well, I had a little book of ailments in my house that had symptoms, and this was the closest thing. And they're like, well, why didn't you just look it up? I'm like, because that's the only way I could look at. We didn't just have the internet.
Yeah.
I'm old.
We had a thing called an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Alright, sorry, I have two related stories. So, speaking of thinking you're dying, the only time I've genuinely thought that I might be dying or having a heart attack or something was when before I had ever heard of it as a thing, so I didn't know like it existed, I once had sleep paralysis. And I genuinely thought I was having a heart attack because I woke up, I couldn't move or talk, and all I could feel was like my heart going nuts.
Oh,
Yep.
And I remember I spent about 10 minutes trying to like wake Katie up and sort of say to her that something was wrong and I couldn't move, and I eventually kind of managed to go "Ugh," loud enough that she woke up. But that took a lot of effort,
Yeah.
and that was scary.
It's scary. Yeah.
I've only ever had it that once, and it wasn't until about 3 years later that I heard of sleep paralysis, and then I suddenly went, oh, that was that thing that happened to me.
That's incredibly sketchy thing.
Yeah.
I have it all the time. Well, not anymore because now I take trazodone. But yeah, I used to have sleep paralysis all the time, and it's very scary. Especially when your brain likes to imagine like monsters and stuff in the corners.
Yeah, I didn't have any hallucinations. I have heard that they come with it quite often because your brain's still stuck in like whatever you were dreaming about, isn't it? Like, yeah. So that's crazy. But sorry, going back to your cheat codes and having to look things up and stuff. A very funny story that Katie has told me about her childhood is there was once a time where basically Katie's mum was looking into it, like in their phone bill and stuff, because they kept being all of these like long calls to like premium numbers and stuff. And the first sort of for things like that is like, the adult chat things you can phone or so. And she was like, oh, well, maybe like Katie's dad's been calling all these, saucy lines or like when she goes to bed, because they were all late at night calls and like for like half hour at a time or something to these premium expensive numbers and stuff. And she's like, oh, maybe he's doing that, maybe he's having an affair, something's going on. Like I don't know. When she eventually confronted him about it, being like, what are all these phone calls you're making in the middle of the night to expensive numbers? He was phoning the Lara Croft helpline because he was stuck on Tomb Raider.
No.
It's so good.
Yeah, so she'd go to bed, he'd be like, well, I'll play a Tomb Raider for a few hours before I go to sleep, and then when he got stuck, he was phoning up the helpline. Because
That's
that
so
was
funny.
that was
Oh
how
my
you
God.
got help in games.
Yeah.
What?
Not wrong.
Stop. Yeah. They're like, well, why don't you just go? Google didn't exist, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm an old one. I know I'm short. Like I know that I'm a short person, so sometimes people think I'm younger than I am, but I'm old. I was before the internet was just in everybody's house. Like
It was also Ask Jeeves first.
that's true. Ask Jeeves. My first cell phone was a Nokia brick, girly. I don't know what to tell you.
I remember it being a really big deal when we were at school that our school was getting its first computer. You know, not even like computer room, just a single computer.
Single computer.
I don't remember the single computer. I do remember the computer room that
Me
the
too. Yeah.
junior school got. That was dope.
It was no, when we were juniors, they had like that one computer first where you could play like that going back to ancient Egypt game, and then they got like the sort of
I know exactly what.
yeah, and then so there was just that one computer that you know it would be like you'd have your normal lesson, and then two people from class could go and play the game for like half an hour, and then you'd swap to the next people, and then
I don't remember anyone that had one.
and then it got like down by the reception area, they got like the 2030 added,
Yes.
didn't they? And then it was
Yeah.
like now you can have IT lessons. It was like whoa.
Yeah. All Acorn computers.
I will credit the computer room for me being able to type very well though, because that was the only thing we could do in ours. Or other than play that. What is that game? The one where you die of dysentery
The
all
Orient
the time.
Express.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
I've never played that. But, like I know that's a thing that all American like kids play at school at some point.
Yeah.
I've never done it. We should see if we can find a version.
Oh, there's loads of them.
You probably can, yeah.
The only thing I
Something
played
changed.
growing up was Balloon Tower Defense 1. Alright, that's all.
I do remember
Actually-
that. That's one.
I didn't really get into games until I was older, because, you know, when you're a girl, I guess it's just not as, like, get encouraged, I guess, because, like, all the boys are like, ew, we don't want to play with you, and then, like, you're just like, well, okay, then I guess I'll just go fuck myself, and I'll go do girl things, but I'd say I was about 16. I mean, I played Sims, which is a glorified version of Barbie dolls, so there's that. But the first game, and it's still my favorite game ever, Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead is great.
I love that game. I wish they would just, even if they just remastered it, because Back 4 Blood's just not the same. I'm sorry. It's good. I like Back 4 Blood, but it's just not Left 4 Dead. And I was about 16 when I found that one, and that's kind of when I started getting into video games a little bit. But I'd say as an adult, really, is when I started dabbling a little bit more into stuff other than just like The Sims and, you know, other nonsense games. So
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of girls sort of our age have similar stories, whereas as kids they just weren't able to play games as much as they wanted and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, I started playing video games when I was 2, so... You know, my babysitter had a SNES and a Sega Mega Drive, so I started on, like... I remember, like, Sonic when I was very little. You know, and when I was free, my parents got us a SNES for our house, and...
I was also very fortunate with games. I remember playing Mortal Kombat at like a 7th birthday party or something.
I got Mortal Kombat when we were about 6 or 7, yeah. Like
Yeah.
the first Mortal Kombat. Because, like, it didn't matter.
Crazy.
You see, it wasn't until I was an adult that I found out the SNES version had blood removed. I just assumed the first Mortal Kombat didn't have blood. Like, but if you play the original one on the Sega, it got blood and like severed heads and stuff. But Nintendo were just like, no.
I also think it's like, my parents, we weren't like well off or anything. Like we had plastic furniture when I was born, so like they had sunk all their money into their house, so like we really only had things that were super necessary, and like the toys that we got were like stuff that they could afford. So and like consoles, didn't really, like Xbox and PlayStation and all of that weren't really as, probably like, I don't remember having that many friends that had them. So I guess when I was growing up, it just wasn't around me as much. But yeah, no, I'm glad that I found gaming. I enjoy it a lot. I spend way too much of my time. DK will tell you that. I've been on Once Human until like 5 a.m. every day for the past multiple weeks. So.
My general test for Americans is like, if you're still up when I get home from work, you're probably up too late.
You're not my real dad, so.
Well, I'm the closest you'll ever get, so you should do what I say.
Does your dad actually have command over when you go to bed?
What, sorry?
I said, does your real dad actually have command over when you go to bed?
No, I'm 36. Well, I'll be 36 this year. And he, although he does get very confused when I say that to him. I'll be like, you're not my real dad. I don't have to listen to you. And he's like, I literally am your real dad, though. So he's like, you don't have to listen to me. You're an adult, but like, I was there. I was like, okay.
I'm 50% responsible for your creation.
Yeah.
I was molded by the darkness.
No, my dad's in bed by like 7 p.m. every night. He's an old man.
I don't know if he has the same. You can ask him. As somebody who has been there, you will never feel more in the way than as the man at somebody giving birth.
He was just fascinated, he said, because I was like natural, and then but then my sister and my brother were both giant babies, so they were both C-sections, and he was like just fascinated by the differences in the delivery. He's like, yeah, I watched them like scoop your mom's guts out and put them on a table, and then,
yeah, they do that. It's crazy.
he's like, it was crazy, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
It was wild.
yeah. Like, when you find out how a C-section is done, it is nuts.
Scurry. Yep.
It's like, we need the bit at the back, so they just take everything out and then.
No, we just stuff it back in.
Yeah.
And staple it up.
It's crazy. Yeah, Lyra was just about born naturally, but they had to get the plunger. I know it's not called a plunger, but I can't remember what it's called. But essentially the plunger.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And the forceps and like pull her out. It's why she had like a dent in her head when she was first born, because where they had to pull her out.
Oh yeah, my sister, her daughter got stuck on her hip bone on the way out, so she was born with like a giant bruise on her forehead.
Ouch. Well, yeah, Lyra's thing was when on her way out, she put her hand in front of her face, so she was too big.
Oh.
But we think she was trying to come out like Superman posing, like.
Oh.
And yeah, she got stuck.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they very much sort of said to Katie, because by that point she'd been in like labour for about 4 days and like active labour for about 20 hours.
4 days. Oh
yeah,
God.
Like, so she was like exhausted. She'd hardly slept. And they sort of said, right, they were like, you can't push anymore. You're too tired. We was like, we'll give it one go with the forceps. If she doesn't come out, then we're going to have to cut you open and do it like as a C-section. But luckily she did come out. Like, the doctor gave her a big pull, but like, yeah.
So my other knee practically fell out. She was so tiny. She was a little teeny bitty little nugget. She just.
Yeah. I know. I've heard stories of that. People going into labour and like don't even make it to the hospital, or like like it just takes an hour, and it's just like pop, and they have this baby, and it's really lovely and easy. And I'm like, wow, that must be wonderful. We had to do as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I think my sister was in labour for like 11 hours tops.
Yeah, that's pretty short.
Which is like not bad.
No. But yeah, we had to do as well because like Lyra was she wasn't like big, but she was long when she was born. And like we had to do physio with her legs for like the first 2 months because they were all bent where they ran out of room.
No.
Like she's fine now, you wouldn't know. And it was one of those things again, because it was like our first kid. We were like, oh my god, her legs are bent. And all the nurses and like doctors were like, no, whatever.
That's
We've
my
seen
dad.
this hundreds of times.
Yeah, but that's it. Everything to them is just, like the one. I'm sure again, being the dad there, you were given no sympathy, or they don't care about you at all. Everything you say is irrelevant, and I to a point, I understand that. Like, obviously, look after the person who's just given birth, especially as in our case, Katie's birth was Lyra's birth. Katie giving birth was quite traumatic. She needed a lot of recovery. Obviously, she should be the priority. I'm not trying to be all like, woe is me, they didn't care. But there's a bit like where I think it was the first time I was left alone with Lyra, and like she was only like 2 days old at the time, and like Katie was off trying to do something with a nurse, or maybe have her first shower that she'd managed to get out of bed to do or something. She was doing something, and like Lyra wouldn't stop hiccuping, and it had been like 20 minutes and she was still hiccuping. And then I just sort of called the nurse, and I was just like, look, she won't stop hiccuping. I know hiccups aren't like the be all or end all, but is that okay that she's just been going for? And she was like, yes, of course it is. And then just walked off.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I won't bother you.
What a great nurse.
Yeah,
Right?
but like I say,
I
but,
feel
but,
like-
but then anytime they looked after Katie and Lyra really well. It was just because I'm dad and I'm not important. I'm not their patient.
Yeah, I feel like there should still be some, because I mean it's scary being a first-time dad too. You don't know what's going on. He's got
exactly.
this tiny little thing. You like,
The
And,
rule with being a nurse is you have to communicate with the family itself.
well,
Mhm.
yeah.
So TK is the family as well, because he's the husband of the child. So we have to communicate with both parties here,
But
not just with one.
I mean,
yeah.
they communicated that it was okay.
Well, yeah, she did. It was
just with zero bedside manner.
yeah. It was very clearly with the air of, well, you're wasting my time, and I'd rather you didn't.
Someone over there has lost their arm.
No.
Yeah, my dad. Although my pediatrician was great. I had him all the way up until I was like 14, and then I started going to the GYN instead. But I came out with a cone head because I was born naturally. So like, you're going through a tunnel, so the head is weird shaped when it comes out. And my dad was like, do I need to be worried about that? Why is her head shaped like that? Is that gonna go away? The doctor was just like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll just turn her, when she's sleeping a couple of times. She'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The head mold.
Yeah.
Choose your favorite head mold.
But that's what
Did you
it's
say
like.
It comes out as,
Sorry.
did you say it comes out as a cone?
Like a cone head, kind of. Yeah, a little bit.
Who you call Pinhead?
I mean, something that, again, like, Katie was quite grateful of is I actually have an abnormally small head. So she was like, genealogically, I hope that Lyra follows on from that when I have to push her out. So, to the point that I can now, I can now, like, Lyra's just starting to wear hats that are too big for me. Or too small for me, sorry. That one. Yeah, she's but like about half her hats I can wear, and half of them are too small. And she's 2. I have a really tiny head.
Also, my family has big babies. I'm not. My grandma said the last thing she remembers before she gave birth to my dad was them being like, "Look at the size of his head." Before they
out from the pay.
from the meds, she was high. She was watching spiders dance on the ceiling. Apparently, I don't know. But yeah, no thanks.
That was really funny. Like, when we first went to the hospital, like, for various reasons, they couldn't do the proper checks that they wanted to on Katie, so they wouldn't give her any pain meds stronger than a paracetamol, which was ridiculous because she was in so much pain she couldn't stand up and stuff. Like, it was nonsense. But it wasn't until and that was because we got to the hospital at 2 a.m. on the day, and it wasn't until sort of about 3 p.m. that they actually were able to give her proper pain meds. But they gave her like gas and air, and obviously because she was going nuts, like she went absolutely ham on it. And I think within about quarter of an hour of having gas and air, she was high as fuck, and just started talking absolute nonsense. It was really funny.
Gotta get it when you can.
Well, that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we always sort of said like she had her like plan is she wanted to do everything with as little medication as possible and try and keep everything as natural as possible. But she was like, ultimately the doctors know best, and I will change my birth plan if I need to. And then yeah, she ended up having to have basically everything.
I think there's just a stigma against having help.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be.
And there shouldn't be, because nothing happens to the kid. Like, the kid is fine. And if you think you can do it by yourself, by all means do it. Like, I'm not going to tell women not to, but like, I feel like a lot of women let like the pressure of people, of like societal expectations being like, you should just be able to do this, make them feel like they shouldn't ask. And it's just like, girl, you're pushing a human out of yourself. You're gonna rip from your V to your A. Like, I feel like you're entitled to whatever makes that easier.
Yep. It's like, hey, pain medication exists for when you're in pain. You will be in pain. Take the medication.
Take this.
I know the reason they don't like it is because sometimes, especially with an epidural, where it goes into your spine, it means your baby will probably come out high. But
that's been debunked, though. That's not a thing.
That's it. I don't know. I know they sort of said about it, but they were like, it will probably only last a couple of hours and will have no lasting effects. It just means your baby will probably be a little bit more sleepy when it's born.
Which sounds like a great thing.
But
you're right.
yeah. But I mean, like, as I sort of said earlier, when like TK was saying about, do I have any advice? Like, newborns are really sleepy all of the time. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They gotta sleep.
That's
what
it.
else are they gonna do?
Well, that's it. Yeah, they basically run on like a 3-hour day, where you have a 24-hour day. They have a 3-hour day. They get up. It's like they get up, they eat something, and then they go back to sleep. Every now and again, you'll have to change them because they poo a lot. But you would poo a lot too if you only had milk.
That's true.
I mean, by the age of 20 is normally when you start decreasing the amount of sleep that you actually need. As you're growing up, you need more. Well, as an infant, you need tons of sleep, but as you grow older, you need less sleep. So, like, babies probably need like almost 10 hours of sleep, maybe even more than that.
More than that,
probably. But that's just because their bones and everything are still growing. Like, they require so much sleep.
And a lot of it
Which
is
nice.
when they sleep, like, dreams are how they process information they've learned. So, because they're learning so much more, because everything is new to them, they have to have more processing time.
Yeah.
So they sleep a lot. But yeah, I think
the one thing
Sorry, go on.
The one thing I'm jealous about is that as you're young, those who are listening, please, like, work out, play some sports, do something like that, because at a young age, you do not get sore at all. Like, you could run around for like hours and be fine. When you get old and you work out, you're like, oh.
Also,
like, oh man.
Make it a habit when you're young. Every day now, I go, I'm really unhealthy and I should start doing exercise. I was really good at it for a while this year, and then I stopped, and I haven't been able to start again.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
started
just
working out maybe about 3 months ago, and I mean, it's been great, but it's like the soreness. Like, when you first start working out, it sucks so bad.
And it's just
One
like,
thing kids do get, though, when they do loads of exercise, they get dehydrated AF.
Oh yeah.
You need to fucking shove water down them.
Yeah, just
constantly. Like,
We,
I just remember putting around loads of getting awful headaches.
we have found with Lyra, if she doesn't want to drink, this summer she's got really into crunching ice.
Oh.
So it's like, if you don't want to drink, it's like, here, have some ice cubes. That will still get some liquid in you.
Well, actually, the problem about that is, I remember because I learned that in nutrition course, is that, yeah, you can chew ice, but the problem is that it takes your body more effort to break down the ice, warm it up, and then it turns into liquid, which barely is anything at all. So So you're not really replenishing yourself with liquid, sadly.
Damn.
Surely it
No.
can't be that much. Like, your body temperature is 30 degrees anyway. Why wouldn't that bad boy just melt straight away?
Well, it has to sit in your mouth for a while, and your mouth needs to heat it up. Because I mean that, like, let's say you put the ice in your mouth, your tongue's gonna get cold. Well,
Yeah.
to prevent your tongue from like, go into deep freeze, your body needs to warm up that section, so it doesn't, become super cold. And so as it's doing that, it's melting the ice while in the meantime. So,
Oh, I was imagining, like, in your stomach rather than in your mouth.
oh.
Yeah, you don't swallow ice whole generally.
Well, okay, but yeah.
Just large
Just seagull it like.
This is how you practice for medications.
Or competitive eating.
Yeah. Starting at a young age. So, well, I mean, chewing ice, there's no problem with that. Because, I mean, there's a lot of ice out there that's like really crunchy and nice to chew on.
There's a lot of ice out there.
Yeah, I mean,
But less and less
I kid
every
you
day.
not.
Damn you, environment.
The nurses I work with will literally, because every nurse has like a ice machine or a water station, like at their pod, and so like when they're not doing anything, they'll just fill their cup like their large like Yeti glasses. They'll fill them up with ice, and that's it. No water, just ice. And they'll just chew on it while they're typing on their computer. So I guess it's a good way to de-stress yourself, maybe. I'm not sure.
I'd rather chew on a dime bar.
I guess the difference is dime bars are full of like fat and sugar and calories.
Yeah,
But it is nicer, I'll give you that.
I like sugar, fat, and calories.
Yeah, I was gonna say. And I often do the thing like when I'm having a bad week where I replace sleep with calories.
Yeah.
It's not good and I wouldn't recommend it. But sometimes it is necessary.
What's your conversion
Permanent.
rate?
What's that?
What's your conversion rate, like hours to calories?
I don't have a conversion rate. I go with what I need to do. I have also done it the other way around before. I once at work sat down for my break. I had food in front of me and I went, you know what? I need sleep more, and I just had a nap instead.
I do that. I take a nap instead of eating lunch sometimes.
But neither is good. Eat 3 square meals and have a proper sleep.
You don't really need to
No.
You just need to eat when you're hungry.
Well, yes.
So about that, I don't feel hunger pangs. So I don't really know. Sometimes I'll get really dizzy and I'll be like, and I've been better about it because I set alarms, but I'll get really dizzy and then I'll be like, why do I feel like shit right now? And then I'll think about it. I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten since like lunch a day ago. Wow. Oh no. Also, I haven't drank any water.
Probably should
Always.
eat more often than
Yeah.
I'll be celebrating my dad's birthday today. So it'll be by tonight. His real birthday is tomorrow. But we're celebrating it tonight because we're going out to eat dinner tomorrow.
Nice.
And he won't have his cake. So
Oh, well, happy birthday to TK Star.
Happy birthday.
we're planning on getting on fat spree here.
Hell yeah.
Eat as much cake as we can.
Nice. What type of cake?
that. Yeah, that is
I'm not really sure. I think it was a vanilla cake. if I'm not
Nice.
mistaken. Yeah, it's white icing on top. I could be
Ooh.
wrong though. Don't quote me on that. My mom makes the cakes. So,
Homemade cakes are always better than shop cakes.
it's true.
everything's homemade.
Mm.
It's gotta be. Or it's not good.
Right, well.
Remember my
Oh, no, you go on. You can tell.
Oh, I was gonna say, one time I was working at the hospital, and my coworker, I was telling him about how I went to the Dominican Republic for a vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and this place, we went to this, I want to say, it was a condo, a restaurant, outside restaurant, by the beach, and everything was in Spanish in the menu, so I couldn't read it. And so the only word I read was cactus, and I was like, you know, I'll have that. Tasted horrible. Cactus was no good.
I had cactus in Mexico, and I thought it was alright.
Nice. My coworker heard that. She's Hispanic, and she's like, oh, "You've had cactus?" Like, yeah. I mean, it's okay. And she's like, oh, "You gotta try some like cactus salad." It's like, the hell is that? And she, the next week, she came in with a tub of cactus salad, and I was like, great. And so I was saying, actually got to eat healthy now. No more meats, just veggies here. And so I had it. It's like, this tastes like salsa. It's just, she said it was salad, but it tastes like a salsa. All I'm missing is some thing of chips, and I'm good. No, like, but I mean, it wasn't like a dip or anything. It didn't really have like any kind of water substance to it. It was just all cactus, bell pepper, whatever else was in it. But it just tastes like a salsa. And it was pretty actually darn good. And she gave me chips with it too. So I'm assuming it was,
needed.
yeah. Well, I mean, like, they weren't really chips. They're like these, like, I guess, they're kind of like the size of a taco.
Oh, cool. Like shells,
yeah.
but just like taco shells, sort of.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But all she says that she just puts all the cactus salad on top of it and just eats it like a pizza. But no, I did the right thing and broke them and just dipped it in. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm talking about. I just forgot the name of it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's just a hard taco. It's just a hard, flat taco. That's all it is. So.
Poppadom.
Yeah. Something.
Probably nothing like a poppadom.
No, I don't imagine it is. I was just trying to think of something like big, flat, and crispy.
Yeah. So, that's the first time in a while I've ever eaten healthy food.
What counts as healthy food? What do you class as healthy food?
I don't know. A banana.
I mean, yeah, that's a good answer. I mean, everything is fine in moderation, isn't it? I think that's the point. You can have like your cakes and sweets and whatever, but just have a little bit of them, and then have some good stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you cooked like your own dinner, does that count as a healthy food?
It depends what you cooked.
Well,
Like, I was about to say, you making donuts or something, or you making actual a bacon and
you say you have
zucchini?
donuts for dinner.
So
If it's like a rounded meal, it's probably good. So
I made for dinner today. I made like, I had corn burgers because they're healthier than regular burgers, and then I had corn on the cob, which is also relatively healthy, and I used non-dairy butter for them. So again, better. Because I've got really into non-dairy butter lately because I wanted to cut out some dairy, and non-dairy butter is just as nice, if not nicer, than actual butter.
So, what do they make it from?
I don't know. I'll have a look for you later.
Like, is it like margarine?
I don't know. I will have a look for you later. It is made out of plants.
Say, see. I mean, I'm unlikely to buy this stuff. I won't lie.
No, well that's fine. Well, like I say, I genuinely just find it tastes nicer and it's better for you. So, but then I had a load of chips with it, which is less healthy, and I had my burger and bread, which is also less healthy.
You can make your own bread. I appreciate you actually have fuck all time to make your own bread.
Yeah, I also don't have a bread maker.
You don't need a bread maker.
Well, alright.
You know them.
You just need a surface and an oven.
No.
Just I should just a surface.
Hey, sir.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Outside. On the
Not
date.
that I would ever
This
make my
summer.
own bread.
I mean-
Seems like it's a lot of work.
And
It's not
This
as much
time.
work as you think, but you do like need time.
yeah, it takes a lot of like proofing, doesn't it?
We actually have a bread maker at our house. And I mean, it sits in there for like almost 4 hours, just waiting for it to fluff up.
What?
Damn, does it taste good as
4 hours?
Oh my god! Like, I screw going to the grocery store. Oh,
I let mine rise for like an hour and then a second proof for another hour. So yeah, 2 hours.
that's not bad. I don't even know how to make bread.
It's just
But,
flour
yeah.
and water. And then yeast, obviously.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I always get like really weirded out by people who have to buy pancake mix. Because it's just like, it's only got 3 ingredients, you just mix them together and fry it. It's like the easiest thing in the world to make.
And
Don't
yet
say
also
that.
the hardest.
Don't say that, man. When I was in Boy Scouts, I had made the most watered down pancakes ever. Everyone was so disappointed with my pancake skills. Like, I put everything was right. I put the right amount of water in it.
See,
and I put
that's
on
your
this-
first mistake, is that you put water in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, what are you on about?
It says in the instructions to put water in it.
Oh, because you're using
Water.
pancake mix, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our point!
Right, okay, so you don't need to buy pancake mix, right? You just need to know the simple song. Milk, eggs, flour, pancake power.
And if you're wondering how much of each it is, it's a cup, and 1.
I don't know,
We're
I
at the
genuinely,
middle of the woods.
I crack 2 eggs, and then I just go until it's about right.
Yeah.
I just keep mixing. If it's too thick, you add milk, and if it's not thick enough, you add flour.
The first one's a burnt mess, you ignore that.
Yeah, you always
Yeah,
ignore
yeah.
the first one. There's too much grease in the pan, and you can't flip it. And then,
Yeah.
but then after the first one, they're all good.
Maybe that was my problem. Because I made the pancake and it looked like Jello. I mean, that thing wiggled. I don't remember it wiggling.
I do remember I wanted to make some chocolate pancakes at uni. And I think I used like chocolate milk and I put some cocoa powder in. And like, this stuff was thick. And first year uni, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Even with pancakes. Dad always used to make them. His dad was better at making. And I pour it in and I'm like, oh, I want nice thick American pancakes. American pancakes are a completely different mix to a regular pancake. Do not try and make a thick pancake with regular pancake mix. I poured like half an inch. That's for you Americans out there. Welcome. Of like this batter into the pan, and it was awful. Like,
It wouldn't
was
cook through.
burning on the bottom.
Yeah.
It didn't cook through. When I went to flip it, it cracked and leaked raw mix everywhere. Oh my god, it was such a disaster.
Cooking fails with Wade.
I've had quite a few.
Hey, you can turn that sucker into a Japanese pancake. If you haven't seen those, they're really thick, but they're super soft.
Oh,
Like
the
they look
ones that-
so delicious.
Oh, yeah, I saw one of those the other day. It's the first time I'd ever like seen one of them. Like, obviously, I saw it in like some Facebook videos, right? And I was like, man, that looks really good.
Yeah, my girlfriend's mom knows how to make them. I was like, but please, for the love of it, make me one. I've tried her dumplings. Oh, so good.
Have you ever had God bread?
No.
It's like a Spanish sweet bread, but it's like made by it's kind of like a dough, like a bread dough, but then like glazed with like rum and coconut, and it's really nice.
Oh,
It's so good.
go on,
See you
please.
Like one of my friends who lives in Portugal told me about it, and I was just like instantly I was like, right, we must bake this. It's-
You said
Casey,
rum.
here
and I
it
was like,
is.
oh yeah.
yeah, I pretty much did. I just went, Katie, you like baking? Here's a recipe. I might ask her to make me some more next time she has some free time.
Yeah. So
But yeah.
we'll get it in 2025.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, she's got a full-time job and a mum. She doesn't have free time.
Yeah. I'm not judging.
It'll come eventually, though.
Yeah, we'll get some of it at some point. See if we can do it for when you visit in November. But yeah. Right. On that point, I think we should head over to the last part of the show. But as I said before, hey, what's a chat show without a quick ad break. I only mention this once every 2 months on my chat show because it makes me feel weird and awkward to talk about it. But if anybody ever feels like contributing to my life, and to be honest, most of it is just presents for Lyra. I do have a link for a throne down there if you ever want to buy me anything. Like I say, it is largely Disney toys for Lyra, I think, or a couple of games that I said if people buy them, I'll play them on stream. That sort of thing. You don't have to or ever feel like you need to, but like I say, this is just my one time every 2 months that I mention it and just remind people that it exists. Cool. So yeah, the last thing is I've asked all of my guests to bring along a little story, something from their life that you might find interesting or amusing to hear about. Yeah, I just sort of... Does anyone like to go first and share their story with the world?
Not it.
Not it.
How
I
long
got
do you
kicked
want
in the
it?
face. Oh.
No, yeah, TK, tell us about how you get... TK, tell us about how you got kicked in the face.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was quite an exhilarating day. So, imagine this. It is Christmas Eve. Right? Fireworks have already gone off. Morning comes up. It's time to take care of the horses. Oh, but there's snow all over the ground. And the horses have been singing in the barn all night. What do? We muck the stalls and clean them. But first we need to kick the horses out. So we kick the horses out and then we clean the stalls. And then we need to bring them back in because it's so cold outside. You know, they can get sick from the cold. So we open the barn doors. They didn't want to come inside. So what do? I go outside with a handful of feed and try to bring them in. What happens? Well, all of a sudden, right now I'm in the middle of an MMA fight between horses, and so I'm dodging and weaving, and all of a sudden this one sly kick comes in, pow! And then my cheekbone. I'm on the ground. I'm unconscious, maybe for about, I don't know, 2 minutes maybe, and I'm just
That's a long time to be
bleeding.
unconscious.
Oh, I know. I'm just bleeding profusely. Hey, man, this person got hit. And all of a sudden, you know, there's like the snow's all red. And I'm just like, you know, when you get in a fight or like, you know, fight or flight kicks in, your lungs like, you know, you're just breathing heavily all of a sudden. You're like your lips are like flubbering in the air. Yeah, that was essentially what was going on. You know, and my sister comes running out. She puts a blanket over me, and because she didn't have her phone on her, so she had to go run back inside the house, call 911, and then finally, while she's doing that, I'm outside bleeding like crazy. I think I woke up again because I think I fell down or passed out again, and I think I woke back up again. And I decided to walk inside. I had enough. I got kicked in the face, but you know what? I decided to walk inside. I walked inside, and you know, here comes the fire department. Of course, one of them knows me, so now it's really interesting. So now I'm not as attractive as I used to be, and the firefighters are all there. And bear in mind, there's snow still all over the roads. So the paramedics came in, and then as I am being wheeled out, I see all my neighbors with tractors plowing the snow out of our neighborhood so the ambulance can get through. Cool point. Then I get to the trauma center, and you know, they're examining my face, stuff like that. Doctor comes in. Man, dude, you really got hit. You wanna see yourself? I was like, yeah, man, you took a picture of me, dude. I was so beat up. I was ugly as could be. And then after that, the plastic surgeon came in, and she came and was like, okay, now we need to go ahead and after inspecting you, we need to go ahead and just start sewing up the wound so it doesn't get infected. And the first question she asked me though is, how good are you with pain? And I was thinking, what do you mean? She says, well, your face has a lot of nerves on it, so this will hurt, and unfortunately we can't give you any medications for it. Oh, okay. And so I'm laying, on my back, face on the table. She's sewing me up, and she's like, I can't see where I need to be sewing. There's just so much blood. And so I'm face down. She's pouring water on me. I'm being waterboarded, and I'm dying on the table. She's sewing my face up. And she's like, I thought you were good with pain. I'm like, I'm dying in the chair or on the bed. And she's finally finished. By the way, that was the most worst experience. I would rather get kicked in the face again than go through that sewing process.
Right, I was gonna say,
but
like,
it was so bad.
Mine would be much less worse because obviously, like you say, in your face there's loads of nerves. I had anesthetic in my hand before they sewed it back up, and that still hurt like a bastard.
Yeah. Yeah, I had another one on my, you can't really see it. Oh, it's focusing a little bit. But I have one that goes across my whole arm over here. But that was like when I was 7. But they finally finished up with sewing up the face. And, they had to do the pressure check, make sure my eyes still work, yada, yada, yada. And then they're like, okay, all right, you're ready to go home. And I was like, great. Where's my shoes and clothes? You had those? Oh. Don't know what to tell you. So I am walking out with my butt cheeks hanging out, scrubs in, with these cheap socks, and I'm walking outside in the ice and snow. It's midnight. I'm like, dude, my cheeks were freezing. And I got in the car. And my parents were like, where's your clothes at? I'm like, I don't know. Let's just go home. And so that was the story. I got my clothes back.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
That's yeah, quite the event.
Yep. It was a chilly night that day. It was a really crappy New Year's.
Yeah. How long did it take for like your face to heal up after?
Oh, well, so after they sewed it up, they went ahead and did some x-rays to kind of see what the trauma was like what part of my face was really broken. And so I had my cheekbone completely gone. There's technically there's supposed to be two muscles up here, or two important bone parts, let's just say that help keep my jaw together, so when I eat it's supposed to help me chew.
Yeah.
Well, those are gone, and so pretty much throughout the entire process I was just eating applesauce, which wasn't bad because I enjoyed it. But cinnamon, I love apple cinnamon. But they did the x-rays, cheekbone's gone, hairline fracture underneath my eye, hairline fracture above my eye. So they got those results in, and luckily, oh, by the way, my nose was gone too. They put a titanium plate where my cheekbone was. It was basically all they had to work with was just, it looked like broken glass. Like everything was just in tiny little pieces. Because I mean, there was not much there to be put together. But the doctor I had was incredible. So they put that together, put titanium plate underneath my eye and above, and unfortunately, the one problem that he had was when he was putting the titanium plate underneath my eye, he cut the controls that go to the bottom eyelid, and so now it doesn't work. So when I smile or something like that, it doesn't work. So all you get is this creepy look. But all in all, long-term wise, it's healed up pretty damn good. You don't even see it anymore.
No.
So
I would never have known.
No.
no. So feeling good.
Yeah.
Except for my bottom eyelid.
But the other thing to consider if you've been kicked in the face by a horse, that's not a bad outcome.
Oh no! I mean, if the horse kicked any higher, I'd been gone. I would not be here right now. So, because that horse has had shoes on, which are just made of steel.
Yeah.
So yeah, no chance of winning that. But
yeah. Well, that was fun. I mean, not fun, but you know what I mean.
well, and it's It's fun now because
Yeah.
it's on the path. I mean,
Thank you.
it's not really traumatic or anything. All
Well,
right, who wants to go
Yeah,
next?
I was gonna say thank you for sharing. Who's next?
Alright,
All right.
we'll go.
Okay.
Flip a
Okay,
coin.
so this is the story of the worst trip I've had at work.
Okay.
My current work. So for people who weren't here earlier, to be fair, I didn't explain it fully anyway. I work offshore. I work on research, well, exploration vessels, seismic vessels, and we typically, we have like an 80-meter long boat-ish, 240 foot for you Americans, and we normally tow anywhere between 100, or I'm going to go in feet, people are like 300 foot to 3,000 foot of cable. Cable being about this thick, like kind of like what you can make with your and that gets towed out the back, and that's normally like 30 to like about 100 foot or so behind the boat, and it's out the boat, and that's what records our data. So anyway, on this boat is a really noisy vessel. So instead of the stuff being towed 100 foot behind the vessel, it's like 250 foot behind the vessel. It's like really far away. The idea being that the further it is from the boat making a brum, 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 brum noise, the less brum, 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 brum noise you get in your data.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. But there were some problems associated with this. First one, the site we were on was like a fishing nightmare. Normally, the people who want to do these jobs will be like, is there any fishing around here? Yes, there is. Let's pay the fishermen off to not be there. And that works quite well. The fishermen get like some money to not be there, and the companies don't have to worry about fishermen being in the way and adding extra time to the survey. But this company did not do this. So there was it was carnage. There was fishing gear on like every single line, and whenever we deviated around, it was because the equipment was towed so far back, it was introducing some really interesting artifacts into the data. So that was like step one. Oh god, this is horrendous, because we just need to redo all these sections, but we can't because there's fishing gear there and we're never going to move this fishing. So then we had problems with just the gear itself. Like some of the big streamer that we have is made up of different sections, and sometimes these sections just give up the goose. They just give up the ghost, not the goose. They just die. So we have to replace, bring it in, replace the section, check it back out again. One of the days, the captain of the vessel was driving, so there's normally about 3 or 4 people who would actually steer the vessel, like the captain, second officer, chief mate, and maybe someone else. He's driving, and there's a weather buoy, a weather station, like in the site, so a big floating thing, probably a couple of meters across, 2 meters or something, just floating. And we're like, that's on course for where we're headed right now. It's like, actually, it'll be okay if we don't try to avoid it. And then the captain tries to avoid it and swings, and because the gear was so far behind the boat, it swings into this weather buoy, like this anchored anchored bit of equipment on site, owned by some people who are recording weather logs. Like not just like a piece of fishing gear that some angry fisherman's gonna be like, you ruined my plastic tub with a net attached to it, but like
piece of equipment.
expensive piece of equipment. And out of the 6 sections of streamer that we have, the third one down starts hitting it, and so does the second and the third, and we write off 3 sections of streamer like in one go, like half of it. So it's like, oh god, this is awful. We bring on these sections, put it back out. We've now got like 1 spare section left. Next day, we're carrying on doing some more survey, and I just remember being sat in this lab with the Geo, because we were off in a separate place, and we're like, huh, the boat's gone really quiet. What's that all about? And then the SIC, the surveyor who deals with positioning of the vessel and planning where the line goes, he comes down in his coveralls, his deck gear, and he's like, "Get your gear on, lads. We need to recover on deck, like now." And we're like, "Oh, what's happened?" And he's like, "Oh, can you not tell that the power's gone?" And so the main engine had completely failed on the boat, and the backup power, you know, because their backup generators was on. So that's why we didn't notice like any computers go off or anything. But that's why we thought, oh, the engine's like really quiet. And we're like, oh shit. We're like muster on our things, so we go outside the back. The engineers have already pulled on some of the other equipment, but the sparker, which is the source that we used to make the noise, it's kind of like a big frame, maybe 2 by 2 meters, quite big. That is supposed to be 250 foot back on the boat, and it's like right at the back because the boat has now stopped and everything else has got momentum and is coming round. So that's like at the back of the boat and is just slowly drifting round, and we're like, oh god, where's the streamer? And you could just see the streamer like starting to bunch up at the back of the boat. We're like, oh god, okay, well, what do we do about this? Like, we can't use the winches to recover anything because A, it's not straight, and B, they run off the engine and there's no hydraulics right now. So, you know, we can't do anything. So we're just kind of like waiting out there, like, what do we do? And at this point, the sparker disappears under the boat, and we just like see it drift off, and we're like, I guess that's at the front of the boat now, probably. Like, oh, that's not good. And then the engineers for the main engine are obviously trying to restart the engine because that's quite a critical thing for a boat to have operational. And the engine picks up again, but while all this equipment is bunched up at the back of the boat, and I just remember the SIC who's still at the back, and all we can hear is the engine start up again, and the stuff was towed off a boom, so like a big arm that just comes off the side of the boat, and it just goes and just like slap bends, bleed in half, like 90 degrees, and he just goes, the boom's gone, the boom's gone. That's like, oh my god. And we look over the side of the boat, and the thing's got kerosene in it, which is just like roughly the same buoyancy as water, so it keeps it neutral buoyant. We just see a load of kerosene and some wires bubble up to the surface, and we're like, well, I guess there goes I guess there goes the rest of the stream. They had the engine up and running again, but what it had done is it tangled the streamer around the propeller, and so then our boat was just stuck in the sea. We couldn't do anything. We had to use the bow thrusters to move away from sight to get us clear of anywhere, and then we were at anchor for 3 days waiting for a tug to take us into port.
Wow.
Worst captain ever.
It wasn't the captain's fault, but I mean the first bit was, but not that bit.
I was gonna say this thing, like if anyone else at work had like done like a big mess up where you lost half your equipment, you'd have spent the rest of the time out there being like, hey, do you want to go driving? Wanker. Like, you know, until but because it's the captain, you all have to be like, man, wasn't that an unfortunate accident that we never could have seen coming?
Oh my.
Yeah, that was a barrel of laughs.
That does sound like everything going wrong. What did you do for 3 days? Because I know sometimes you stop at port, but then you can like go and do things and stuff. But what do you do like for 3 days in the middle of the sea?
Well, we didn't do much.
No.
What was
Well, I mean,
after it happened, it was really fun because like the job had been like a bit of a nightmare anyway, and so everyone, like after we had been on board, it was like, oh okay, you know, we're anchored now, we're going to port. There was just like 5, 6, 7 of us just on the back deck, and we just had like a chill chat for like 3 hours, and it was just like incredibly like cathartic. experience after this absolute nightmare of a job. But yeah, we just kind of sat around for 3 days, and then we had a little tugboat that was like a Mickey Mouse boat take us all the way to I think it was Invergordon or Inverness, but I don't remember to be honest. It was a while ago. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. That does sound like a very stressful followed by a quite easy time at work.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Cool, thank you. Rachel, what would you like? What story have you brought along for us?
Well, nothing super interesting happens to me usually. I'm very much a homebody, but I guess one of the funnier stories I have is like when I turned 21, which was 900 years ago now.
Yeah.
So, but I remember it weirdly enough, despite how hammered I was, because me and my friends went out to this like gay bar together, because my friend knew the bartender, and he was feeding me shots all night. So that was that number one. I think I lost count at probably 11 shots. And then I had 2 Long Island iced teas, which is my drink of choice, and my friends
that's
were
just
like,
all of the booze in a big glass, yeah?
yeah, and they were like, my friends were like, we're gonna have to carry her out of here. I walked, by the way. But the most thing that I can remember is I have no idea where my friends were, but I remember standing in the middle of the dance floor, and like those like laser lights that they put if they're all different colors and they're moving to the music. I was like standing there like trying to touch them because it looked like I could.
Yeah.
I was like trying to and then this sweet man who I still don't even know his name. He just comes up to me and he's like, "Oh God, honey, you need to go sit down." He took me and he sat me down and he got me water, and the sweetest I don't remember his name, but he took care of me all night and he got me back to my friends in the car and like made sure I got in the car. Like the nicest guy ever. But I just the memory of me just standing there like I can only imagine what that looked like to other people.
You obviously look like enough of a distressed person that somebody had to intervene and sit you down.
Yeah. Oh God, it was good times though.
Are you sure it was just alcohol in those shots?
Oh, for sure, yeah. But I'm 21 years old. I didn't eat anything, I think, really that day. I'm lucky I wasn't hugging the toilet later that night.
As long as you didn't lick it.
No.
If it's your own
Only
time,
tequila.
Yeah.
Only tequila makes me vomit. Learned that the hard way.
Tequila's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also lose time to tequila. Like, I'll drink and then I don't remember what happens after.
A fun little thing. So when I went to so we went to Mexico for our honeymoon. That was when we went. And being in Mexico, we were like, well, we have to try a proper Mexican tequila, And I tried it. Still didn't like tequila. Tequila is not for me. There was one point where some other couple who happened to be there, like just because there weren't many tables, sat next to me and Katie, and they were talking to us. And when the guy was like, "Oh, we should get a round of tequilas in," and I was like, "No, I'm okay. I don't like tequila." And he was like, "Why? What are you drinking then?" And I was like, "I've got a hot chocolate."
Aww.
And he's like, "What? Why aren't you like drinking?" And I was like, he was like, "We're at an all-inclusive place." He's like, "Treat yourself. Get some proper drink in you." And I was like, "Look, I have." What would it have been? 2 months ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes. You want to know how much of a treat hot chocolate is?
Aww.
It was like, you leave me alone and let me have my hot chocolate. Needless to say, I didn't talk to them again after this time. But
Yeah, you fucking tell me.
yeah, no, thank you for sharing. Hopefully you haven't. You've learned the error of your ways and know you can't touch lasers now.
Oh yeah, so it was I was actually pretty sad about it that I couldn't, because it looked like you could. It's just
How dare they lie to me?
Why can't I touch it? No, I did learn, and then eventually I learned that maybe 11 shots is enough.
Yes, I'm gonna draw my line. 11 is my limit, guys. 11, and then cut me off. Yeah, 11.
And 2 Long Island iced teas.
Well, obviously, and 2 island iced teas. You can't go out and just have shots.
No, you can't. You have to have something to sip on too. And they were all free. So, like,
Wow.
what am I supposed to do? Say no?
Exactly.
That's polite.
I mean,
The more adult version of you would be like, yes, I am supposed to say no, but the 21-year-old of you is like, absolutely, yes, I'm having those.
The adult version of me wouldn't be caught dead in a club. Are you kidding me? I'll drink in my house.
Yeah, but if someone was in your house and offered you 11 shots,
I'd say, what are you doing in my house?
where did you get all these?
Yeah, where did you get all this alcohol from? No, I mean, in my house it's different though, because I can just go pass out in my bed. So
Yeah.
there's, it's not as big of a deal. Because I didn't get sick. I don't really get sick, and I don't get hangovers. I'm just kind of still drunk the next day.
that sounds way better than hangover.
Yeah, I've never had a hangover, but I am still pretty tipsy the next day.
And she's still pretty tipsy to this day.
Till this day.
Cool.
Doesn't warn off.
Yeah. So we end the show, as always, with me telling my little story. I feel like inspired by Wade, I'm going to tell you a story of a weird day at work. This actually happened really recently, so if for some unknown reason my boss is listening, you don't need to listen to this. But I mean, he knows half the story because you'll find out. But he doesn't know how it started, and I would like to keep it that way.
Quickly clip it and send it to his boss.
So yeah, basically, I was working at work, obviously, and the Wi-Fi wasn't working very well. Like the store internet was working, like all the computers and everything worked, but my phone wouldn't connect to Wi-Fi, which means I couldn't talk to people while I was working, which I understand I shouldn't really do anyway. But in realistic terms, I wanted to do that. As long as my favorite theory is very much, as long as all the work gets done, if I'm chatting on my phone a little bit, it doesn't really matter too much. That is how I run my shifts. It's the same for the other people I'm working with, because I give them the same. I'm not like I can be on my phone and you can't. That would be really shitty of me. So yeah, as long as the work gets done, I don't mind people using their phones. I wanted to be able to connect my phone to the internet. I couldn't, so I knew that I couldn't just reset the router, because it means that all our tills would stop working and the shop wouldn't function and anything. So I had to wait until it was quiet. So that meant I didn't. About 2 a.m. I was there right, we haven't had any customers in a while. Let me go and play with the internet. We have in our office a really big communications box that does all of our networking and everything in it. And I looked at the router and I was like, this router doesn't have an on-off button, which means, I can't just reset it. And I was like, but what I could do is just unplug it at the wall. How's that any different? I could just unplug it, plug it back in, router's reset, I can get on the Wi-Fi, everything's hunky-dory. I unplugged it at the wall and plugged it back in, and what I didn't realise is the entire communications box runs on one plug. There's a thing inside the communications box called a consistent power generator, which I'd never heard of before, but that is what is plugged into the wall, and that powers everything else in the box. So when I unplugged it at the wall, I unplugged essentially the power for our entire networking system. When I plugged it back in, it didn't come back on, because the part of a consistent power generator is that it has to be consistent. These are all things that I now know. So basically, I just made an entire power cut for our store at 2 a.m. in the morning. And something I didn't know, but the business that I currently work for, the way the barcodes in their store work is they work on Wi-Fi, so we no longer could scan anything through the tills. So we couldn't scan anything. None of the card machines worked. We couldn't get our back office on the computer, like on the network, because there was no internet. The phones were down because the phone line is also connected through this box. So yeah, I then had using my mobile, had to phone up our like help support people, and I was like, yeah, so all our phone lines are down. We've got no phones and we've got no internet, and that means that nothing works. Like our forecourt is off, our tills are off, everything is off. And we've had to shut because obviously I can't run a shop with no anything. And they're like, okay, well, that sounds like a internet problem. You have to phone your internet provider. And I was like, but you're our like support people. You're supposed to come and fix shit. And they were like, you have to phone your internet provider. That's an internet problem. And I was like, I don't know who my internet provider is. How would I know that? And they were like, and they were like, well, you just have to phone them. And then they hung up on me.
Oh God.
Nice.
I then sort of spent 10 minutes panicking. I then had another look at the router and found that on the back of the router was the internet provider and a phone number for them. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I phoned them up and they were like, hey, you've got our out of office hours, you know, like we can log that you're having problems, but we don't actually deal with stuff until 8 a.m. in the morning. But I can make a note that you've got an issue and it will be dealt with by like the morning crew. And I was like, okay, that's something. Please do that for me. And then they were like, and then they were sort of looking up like our account, and they're like, oh, you're running through like a business, and I was like, you need to phone the company that is your business support. And I was like, yes, I've done that, and they told me to phone you. And he went, yeah, I've dealt with them before. They're a pretty shit company, aren't they? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, cool, well, I'll phone them back then. So I phoned them back and I was like, hey, I've talked to my internet provider. They said I have to call you. Can you come and fix my shop, please? And they went, yeah, okay, we'll deal with that at some point, maybe. And then that
Maybe.
was, yeah, and that was about as much as I got out of them. And I was like, fine, cool. So then, you know, I carried on just doing the work I could do at my shop. In many respects, it was easier because we had no customers because the shop was shut. You know. And then my boss got in. He was starting his shift at 6 in the morning, like when I finished. So he got in at about 5:45. And was like, why the fuck is the shop shut? And I was like, because there's no power. Nothing works. And he was like, so, you know, obviously this is the bit he doesn't know is that it all started because I unplugged it at the wall. I never told him that. I just went, power went out. Because I'm not silly. And to be honest, like that, you know, he knew everything he needed to know. It was fine. But yeah, he then went through and found out the reason the power never came back on is because one of the fuses had blown. But I didn't know the fuses in our electric cupboard were all fine. There's another set of fuses in the roof of the office that I didn't know about, and one of them, and he just flipped that back on, and then the power came back, and that was lovely. But although the power came back, so again we could scan stuff through the tills now, and the forecourt worked again, so we could sell petrol. None of because the internet didn't come back, none of the card readers worked, so everyone would have to pay in cash. And he couldn't get the office computer back on the network to like do any of like the admin jobs he needed to do. So again, he had to phone up support and be like, "What the fuck? Can you come and sort this out, please?" And then I promptly was like, "Well, I'm going to go home, and you can sort that out." And I think it was about. I mean, I did stay for a bit and try and help out, but I think about 6:30, so like half an hour after I should have gone home, I was like, well, you don't need me here, there's nothing I can do that you're not doing, I might as well go. And then, yeah, I think it wasn't until about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning that he got things up and running enough that he could open the shop. So from 2 in the morning to 8 in the morning, we were closed because I essentially unplugged everything. Didn't know.
Because CK couldn't get any internet on his phone.
Yeah, that's it. And it all started because I didn't have internet on my phone. And
Now that is one hell of a story right there.
yeah, so yeah, that was how I broke the shop for a day. I didn't mean to. But like I say, in theory, you think it would be really easy to reset a router, you just off and on, and everything would be fine. But I don't know. It's only because they have this weird power thing that I've never seen before. and don't understand why it exists.
And then also the unknown fuses.
Well, yeah, that too. But yeah, so that was that. Right. Thank you everyone who's been hanging out. Thank you again my guests who have come to join me on the show. If you want to take a quick minute just to sort of, tell people where they can find you and let me shout you out and stuff, if you want to go around the circle or something, do that.
Which way's the circle?
Oh yeah, because it's probably different on your screen. Wade, do you want to go first? Tell people about the sort of stuff you do on stream when you stream.
I'm Jolly Wade. I am a kind of variety streamer when I stream. I'll either be playing probably strategy RPG games or Age of Empires 2. I stream sometimes during the day at weird UK hours like late afternoon or early afternoon. Come out and out sometime, maybe, if that sounds like your thing.
Cool. Rachel?
I am, well, I guess my channel's name is Minkitten. I'm Minkitten everywhere, so if you want to find any social media, that's the name. But it's spelled stupid, it's with 2 N's at the end, so just remember that. And then I'm a variety streamer. It's mostly whatever games I'm currently hyper focused on. So I play a lot of Sims. I've been currently playing a lot of XCOM because I love XCOM. And then The Walking Dead has been like the series that we've been doing, but we're gonna have to start a new one soon because I'm almost done with it. I like spoopy games. Haven't played one in a while though, so we're gonna have to find some of those. But yeah, I don't know. Come hang out. I stream on. Oh God, when do I stream? I don't even know.
You're the streamer. What?
Yeah, I don't know. Tuesdays sometimes because I'm off on Wednesdays. Thursdays for sure, and Sundays I stream. But sometimes Fridays. I don't know. It's. I post it on socials. Usually whenever I feel like it. So, because I'm very unserious. But yeah, come hang out sometime. It's good. It's good vibes.
Cool. And Tiki?
I don't stream. I have a fans account, if you want to know. Yeah, I mean, if you want to find me, Teutonic Knight 4406. Yep, there's numbers there. If you want to follow me there, you can. All I do is stream historical games for historical aspects, or if you're feeling down, go ahead and hit me up. I'll try to help wherever I can.
Cool. And yeah, I normally stream every Saturday and Sunday for people who want to come hang out with me if you've come from one of the other free channels and to hang out. And we are currently doing, on our Saturdays, we are doing a Pokemon Soul Lock with our good friend Tony, who you can find at Hydroxide Ant on Twitch. And when he's not free, we have been playing Like Dragon Infinite Wealth, which I have inadvertently, accidentally ended up going for the Platinum Trophy on. And we're, we're sort of almost there, which is good because I've been playing this game for 115 hours now, and although I really love this game, I'm also quite ready for it to be over. Now, don't get me wrong, like, it is genuinely Game of the Year contender. I have loved it, it is incredible, but also it is a long time to have been playing one game. So if you want to come hang out with any of that, that is what we have been doing, and I hope to see the rest of you soon.
Can we do another shout out for Secondhand CK?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, sweet, thank you.
No worries. Yeah, so this is where you can find me, I guess. I'm currently... I've last streamed a chat show. It's this show that we, it's happening now. It's good. But yeah, if anybody wants them and doesn't already have them, here are the socials. You can follow me on Twitter to get updated on when I go live. You can check out past VODs on the YouTube. It's mostly up to date now. I think it's all up to date except for last Sunday's stream, and I want to put the interview Kitty did with me about my single on there, but I haven't edited it out from the rest of the stream yet. But, So other than like 2 things that's up to date, which is pretty good for me and uploading my VODs, so you know. And if you want to chat in between streams, you can join the Discord. If you set your role as a sloth, you get to see what I do with my little area of the Discord. If you set your role for live notifications, you get to see when me and all the other cool streamers in the Nerdy Castle go live. We're going to go raid. Let's go raid Keon. He's cool. He's playing some games. If people don't know Keon, he's a vampire VTuber. And yeah,
Fall in love with his voice.
he does have a very dark, brooding, sexy voice.
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah,
really-
that is the correct reaction. Just, oh.
Yeah. Like, I always ask him, what, where are you from? Like, what accent was that? He never tells.
No, it's just vampire. it's just vampire.
Yeah, it's really his vampire. Yeah.
If you basically just imagine sexy vampire, and that is Keon.
Yeah.
I will form an opinion very shortly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yes, again, thank you to anyone who's been hanging out in chat. Thank you and watching the show. I always really like when the chat shows do well and people come to check them out. Thank you again, Wade, Rachel, and TK for being on the show. These people are all amazing. That's why I asked them to be on the show. So please go and check them out whenever you get the opportunity to do so.
Thanks for inviting.
That's
Yes,
right.
Thank you for having us on. Been fun.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's just taking them out for the snacks.
Nah, I just got kicked by a horse again.
It's fine. We're all waiting for you. I will.
Wait for me.
Oh, I thought you were.
Are
Gonna...
you shit?
I thought you were going to say something after you finish your snack. I will cancel this raid and do another one. I don't mind.
I have nothing to say.
Alright, that's
I
fine.
have nothing to I had enough full of steak right now, and I'm sucking all the juices out. Why do you have to cancel the raid, man?
That's fine. It's fine. Alright. Yeah, thank you everyone who's been here. I will be streaming again tomorrow, doing some more Like a Dragon. Hopefully I'll catch you all then. We're going to go raid Keon. He's cool and awesome. So until then, all I've got left to say is bye. And remember, spread the wholesome. And I didn't do my raid message. Never mind.